Nitro is the glory,
but e-buggy pays the bills. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast. Get ready for some serious bench racing. But be warned, we speak our minds, express our thoughts, and sometimes things can get a little rowdy.
Hate, and he just was influenced by the hate coming from the left, the hate coming from the right.
And let's get back to more club racing and less of this grabbing racing.
It's hard not to be arrogant when you're always right. You know?
See what I mean? That's exactly why people call you arrogant, Max.
You may not agree with everything we say, but it's definitely worth a listen.
And our pick, can you stop whatever you're doing?
Join your host, Lefty the Great, with co-hosts and guests as they get together to chat RC.
Hey, after that race that I watched this morning, I have to talk about it.
There we go. $100 right here. $100 throw. Oh no!
I like this.
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number, I think this is what, 246? Yeah, 246 of the No Name RC podcast. This is another Lefty Off the Record live show. This is our fourth one. I think we've done one every week for the last month. So thank you guys for joining us. We ain't bringing Barry on her till we got 100 plus people in her. That's how it's going to happen. But good evening to everybody. Thank you for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Please share this. Get it out there. We got 52 people on her. Barry wants 150 people tonight. That's what he said to me before. He says, not coming on till we got 100 people in her. But thank you guys for joining us. I have my good buddy Adam Ross from the great North Continent. I guess it's a country now, but it's a part of North. It's a country, but it's a part of North America up there in Canada. He's in the background doing our producing. I'm going to thank you to him, Adam Ross. And also shout out to all of our Canadian listeners and RC family up there. Thank you guys for, I was just put into a new group and it's really cool to talk to you guys. Thank you to the NNRC squad around the world. We can't do it without you guys. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to the patrons of the NNRC, the YouTube members. If you wish to support the podcast a little bit more, there's links for that in the written description of the podcast. Every little bit helps. And of course, thank you to the awesome companies that support us. We can't do without them as well. If you guys can, we have links for them in the written description of this podcast. We have coupon codes, affiliate links, all that good stuff there. They are Invisible Speed, High Tech RC, Sun Pedal USA, Sidewinder Fuel, Mayako, Beach RC, Techno RC, Clinic RC, Ignite Design RC, Bringing Gas Truck Back, RaceCraft USA, Stacked RC. Shout out to Carl RC, WRC, House of RC. Shout out to our drivers, David Ronnefalk, Robert Batty, Alexander Hagberg, and I think Tiba is still on board. I think he's all right. I'm going to give him a big hug when I see him at Wicked Weekend next weekend. But shout out to Jared Tebow as well. Yes, guys, we are live. I was not planning on doing a Lefty Off the Record this week, but we got some news with, obviously we saw the news with Barry Baker or Bartholomew Baker, or as I like to call him, Max's RC dad. He, I can see him in the background. I just said that. He just leaned back like, I'm going to smack Lefty when I talk to him. But yeah, we're going to have the legend, the one and only, the fabulous one, Barry Baker on her to talk RC, talk about his departure from TLR and what his future plans are. And of course, you know, it's always exciting when we have Barry on. He has a plethora of stories. He is not afraid to tell it how it is. So we're really looking forward to that. But thank you guys, everybody. I just see a few people. I'm going to say, what's up, Zach Ryan? Good job this weekend at the Asian Buggy Championship. Sorry. Great coverage. Enjoyed it. You guys killed it. Scotty done a great job. Hey, it was awesome. Good job. Great to see you guys. Such a big race happening in Australia. Hopefully we can make it over there next year. Shout out to all of our Australian listeners. It's really great. Share this, everybody. If you're new to our YouTube channel, hit that like, sub button. If you want, hit that super chat as well. Helps us out a little bit. I see Donald's in. He's all the way from Alaska. Bob Thomas, Bob's RC. What's up, Clay Keats? See, you've been building that e-buggy for your daughter. We got We got Martin Pillmeyer in here. What's up, dude? So thank you guys. We got 69 people in here. So we need 72. Come on, share this. Share this. Yeah, Zach. You guys, Zach, how many spreadsheets did you have to do all of that stuff? I know you had a bunch of spreadsheets, but great job. I watched it. Congratulations, Alex Bernardzak. He won that. We got Corey Williams, was at the Barnstormers race this past weekend as well. Hope you guys had a good time up there. I did watch some of the coverage that Toby Hansen done. SJ Racing, dude. Yeah, up. I thought that was somebody else. What's up, SJ? How you doing? Share this. 74 people. So we need 25 more people, and then we're bringing the Fabulous one. And guess what? We will have some questions. I know you guys have some questions for him. Frankie Contreras says, "What's up, Larry Laker and Lefty?" Dude, Barry is a popular dude. People want to hear from the legend. Nick, how you doing? What's up, Joseph Cude? How are you? Nitro Sedan is the glory. Hey, I see that Costa Rica is putting a bids for the 2024 Nitro Sedan Worlds. They have a really, 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 really great track down there. And I hope they get it. I really do. But I see Barry. Oh, Barry just left. So we'll wait for him to come back. He says he needs 20 more people before we can start talking RC. He'll be back shortly. But once again, I want to shout out to Adam Ross. He's in the background. Fred wasn't available today. Well, Fred, it's 10 o'clock there in Brazil, so I didn't want to make it too late for him. But Adam's been helping me out with StreamYard. He's keen for this. Check out Adam's channel as well. Justin, how you doing? Jeremy Kramer, Mike Kaz says Sparker is really growing in the USA. Is it? All right, we have to check it out. They're really got a really aggressive marketing campaign. What's up, David? How you doing, man? Good to see you. I guess we have the E-Nats going on this weekend, so everybody's headed to the E-Nats. We saw the two-wheel drive part of the Euros done today with a two-time European champion at the age of 15 years old. We're going to talk about that with Barry. But we got 83 people in here. We're not going to keep him too late. I think we reached 86. Come on, guys. 14 more. 14. Nobody's going to the E-Nats. Yeah, they'll get some entries. I hope they do. I hope they do. Salty Joe finally made it here on time. 91. Come on, 9 more. 9 more. What's up, Salty Joe? You came up in today's podcast. Yeah, JQ and I recorded my podcast today where we talked for 3.5 hours about my story. So that will be released next week sometime. Looking forward to Wicked Weekend. Be there next weekend. Can't wait. Jonathan Kurz, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for coming and share this, guys. Come on, 89 people. You guys only got 89 people for the Fabulous one? We have the Fabulous one live. And only 89 people? You guys don't want him to talk. When is the 40 plus nets? They have a 40 plus Euros. What's up, Ed Zillox? How you doing? Zillilox. I mess up guys' names. Adam Christensen and Hunter King. What's up, dude? How you doing? I know you got to play Delivery Boy. Too bad Jimmy didn't make it up there. I really wanted to meet him. He showed me some pictures today. I'm excited. Woo! All right, 98 people. 2 more. Brandon Hong. How you doing, man? Hello from Toronto, Canada. Gnarly RC. K Lefty. He must be Dominican. All right, we got 100 people. Let's get the Fabulous one in her. What's up, Robert Rodriguez? Let's get the Fabulous one in her. He's itching to talk to you guys. Everybody, give a round of applause for the Fabulous one, Bartholomew Baker.
Yeah, I look like I'm itching to talk to everybody, huh?
Yeah, I think you're just more upset that I called you Bartholomew and Max's RC dad.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
He's also watching baseball, everybody.
Trust me, if I was Max's dad, there would have been an abortion.
What's up, Tony Chandler? How are you? See you at Wicked Weekend. All right. Thank you, Barry, for coming on. I greatly appreciate it. We've been talking about having you back on for quite some time. But obviously with the news that came this past week, was it this week? No, last week, sorry.
What? There was news?
A little bit. You know, like you not being associated with TLR and Horizon no more.
Let's forget about that for a second, okay?
Okay.
Let's talk about Marcus Kærup.
Right. Let's get that right off the bat because that was awesome, right?
Yeah. I've known Marcus before he was even born because because I've known Jonas for God knows how long. His dad, who's, you know, a European champion as well. So, I mean, it's, I'm so happy for them. Like I was happy last year, you know, and it was just awesome. But I mean, you know, to see him win again this year, you know, I mean, what happened to Jorn? Jorn literally dominates qualifying, and then did he really just blow out?
He threw it away.
I literally know how that works. Trust me.
He threw it away. But this kid's amazing. 2 European championships. He's just 15. His dad is a 2-time European champion, I believe. One time. But in touring car, correct?
Yeah. So back in the day, you know, when these companies actually sent people to support, you know, over at the Euros, you know, the US companies would send people over to support for the Euros, and, you know, then European companies would come over here for nationals. It would just be, you know, back in the day when, you know, honestly, it wasn't all corporate and everything, that, you know, the racing people wanted to go to the races and have that. I went over with Mike Reedy to the Euros, and I would go a couple years in a row. And the year before, we were in Switzerland, and who was it? Yuho ended up winning with an Associated car. This is when I was working with Associated. And then the next year we went to the Euros here with Craig Drescher and Mike Reedy and them. And at that race, I remember it like it was yesterday, because it was X-Ray was there with their first car, and they were fast. I mean, it was ridiculous. Gilles Groskamp had everybody covered. It was stupid. He was going to win that race by, you know, half a lap, how fast he was. And Jonas qualified like 7th. But what people didn't understand is on the last day of practice, it rained. And Craig says to me, he goes, "Man, I think it might rain on Sunday." And I said, "Okay, well, get out your rain car and let's go test." And it was literally Craig and I testing, making changes, doing this, doing that. He was the only one on the track running in the rain. And we dialed that thing in the rain. Sunday comes around, it pours down. We take Jonas's car, we change it all over to a wet car. We put all the changes, because in Europe they race in the rain. And, you know, we put all the setup on it, and he drove from 7th right to the front and won the race.
No way.
Yeah. And we called it the best boat in the industry at the time, the TC3, because it would go, you know, it would float. There was a puddle on the backstretch that literally they would just hydroplane right through. Like the chassis would just go right through it. And all the other chassis had these openings on the bottom, and the TC3, you know, with the plastic chassis, it would just like slide across it and it wouldn't get stuck or anything. And so like Jonas still had to drive it. Like I tell everybody, you could dial a car in as good as a car can get, but the driver still has to drive it. The person behind the wheel still has to go around the track. But he definitely had a huge advantage, and that goes down to, you know, Drescher putting the time in the rain and pretty much ruining a practice car in the rain to get a good setup just in case on Sunday, and it paid off for him. And that's how Jonas went and won the race. So that's amazing. It was pretty awesome. I mean, I can't, you know, we had a good time that night. Let's just put it that way.
I heard you had some legendary nights. So
I've had some Fisherman's vodka in Denmark is a killer to me. I won't say a killer. Let's just put it this way, that I've done snow angels in the middle of the street, outside of a bar, shirtless, like in the snow. Yeah, it was in traffic. Yeah,
no
it
way.
was. Oh yeah, Oh, yeah.
That was the good old days, though. That was the good old days.
That was the young and stupid days.
But
now I'm just old and stupid. So,
but let's talk about that, because here we have this 15-year-old. He won it. The person that won the champion last year, Tommy Hall, unfortunately didn't make the A main, but he's 16, right? And this kid, he won
because he didn't run his shocks upside down.
JQ would have a hissy fit right now if you heard that. But I'm just saying, let's look at this. This kid, he's done well. He's a 2-time European champion. He's going into 4-wheel drive this weekend. He could possibly do well.
Probably with a lot of confidence.
I would say so. His cars got stolen as well. Their cars got stolen.
This was at the warm-up race, correct?
I believe so. So their cars got stolen.
I think they went to. I remember reading something from Jonas that said they went out to lunch or something like that, and they had their cars in the back, in the back of their car, and the window got broken out, and they stole the cars or whatever, So,
but I mean, just seeing his dad hugging him, I got to meet them at the Worlds. Really great good father-son team. Excuse me.
Jonas is a great person. Great person.
But I mean, we're seeing these young. This is not unusual for Europe, but they've had many young European champions and whatnot in 10 scale. I think it comes down to the club culture in Europe, not racing a bunch of classes, having a functioning federation that also has federations within the different countries and stuff like that. But they're definitely look at these young racers out there that they're pushing out. And these guys are coming out champions. This young kid, it's amazing to see. And I think,
but you got to remember that Jonas and they're the European team manager, Craig Drescher.
Awesome guy.
They're literally like brothers.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't be any closer. We traveled the world together, back in the day, and Craig has been by their side since day one with CML and Team Associated. And, Craig's is he the winningest European champion out there, or the second winningest European champion of all time?
He's an awesome person, though.
The guy knows how to win. He's got a championship pedigree behind him, and he's got, all the confidence in the world. And Craig is there, and just the support. It's a support staff. Mm-hmm. You cannot win races these days by yourself. It's not
I don't think so.
To happen.
And he always pushes the youth, right? They have a very good AE has a very good youth program going over there. It's obvious. Look at the Hall brothers, this young man. I would throw in Ungaro, even though maybe Ungaro isn't as close because he's in Italy, but I'm sure
well, how about giving Ungaro a pat on the back here?
Yeah.
When's the last time he's run 10 scale?
I know. He just comes out and he says he's coming to the Worlds too. And he says he'll be at the Worlds, and I said, what about, you worried about the track? He goes, oh, no, I just want a Spencer Rivkin setup. That's what he said to me at IBC. But congratulations to Marcus. I think
Sontag just texted me and said, can we talk about something that's interesting?
Well, when South Sontag go into ENATs. There we go.
What's that?
Go. Tell Sontag go in e-trug or e-buggy at the ENATs.
He's at the ENATs right now.
I know, but he's got to win one of them. The Padawan must beat the master at some point. That's Star Wars talk.
I know it's Star Wars talk, but I am not following you whatsoever. So
I'm saying that Sontag is the protege, Phend is the master.
No, Mike Sontag, not Tater.
Oh, okay. Mike. Wow, he's the fastest
shit
pit
talker
man in the world, right there, dude. That guy's pits are fast. Yeah. I like him too. He's really good.
Mike's awesome.
He's really fast in the pits. I watched him. I watched him help win that Truggy man at AMS for.
Nikki says he's fast at home too.
My gosh, we got Tim Lime in the house. Matthew Lawrence, what's up? Cody Wildguest, Cody Turner, Joseph Cood, Kevin Caston. How you doing? Man, awesome day for Kærup. Awesome day. Let's just see him hug, like the father hugging him, and the guys coming to tours and all that stuff. To me, that's what RC is about, right? Father, sons, doing that type of stuff. Generational champions. Man, I get so aggravated when everyone's like, it's all about 40 plus. No, it's all about that. Those young kids, we need them. Those are the future. Those are what's going to be future champions, and they're coming. Happy belated birthday, Matt Dixon. Good to see you. Kevin Herbert, how you doing? John Philpott. Chris Nunez, how you doing? All right, guys. So Barry, you're not at the ENATS. You are home.
I wouldn't have been at the ENATS.
I did see you at the Nats. You was working your ass off at the recent nationals. It was hot. You was sweating.
I think I worked my ass off at every race I went to.
You
I
do.
think anybody can attest to that when I put full force effort into it, but even back in the day, of touring car, if I wasn't doing well, I would stay up all night and build a new car. I mean,
it was also mentally strong too. That's what I think was, you came in there. What was the story? You came in there and said, okay, who's coming second today?
That was cocky young Barry.
Yeah, but that's mind games. That works. We need to go back to that. I think these guys need to be playing mind games like that. I think.
I see Kevin A. Bear on here, and he'll still probably laugh at this story, but I think I helped in Kevin A. Bear becoming Kevin A. Bear, the dominant in touring car for a while, because Cocky Barry literally looked at him one day in Cleveland and said, "You wish you had what I had."
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. I love having you on. But let's talk about, so your role at TLR was as a consultant. Can you explain what that role was somewhat, please?
So, do we really want to start from the beginning? Do we have the time? Because I would love to, but I don't want to lose everybody here.
I mean, just give us a quick synopsis of what your role was.
Everybody wants me to talk crap. Okay. Everybody wants, me to dish all the junk that's out there, because that's what people like these days. It's all about drama, and boy, could I create some. But yeah. But so let's just get it started with, back in the day I ran for Losi, back in the days with Junior and Pops and them, but that was in I want to say the 90s or so. And then I went through, the phase of all of the touring cars and, racing for Associated and X-Ray, and then doing the Team Magic thing. And everybody's heard that story and everything. So I decided back in, I want to say 2015 or so, I was done racing. It was one of those where I was doing Reedy races, still, but I mean, I literally took out Dakota at a Reedy race once, and probably, I don't think his mom still has ever forgiven me for that one. Mm-hmm. But he got me back on the last corner, and the whole place went crazy. It was kind of funny, when I look back at it. But I mean, he was so young, and I mean, I remember him in days, where I was working for O'Donnell and I went to a race in Canada, and I mean, Dakota could barely look over the railing on the driver's stand and decided he was going to wax all of our asses. So, it was, I've known him a long time. But coming back to the whole thing about getting involved with TLR again, I ended up having some back issues, and I was playing a lot. When I decided to leave RC, I was playing a lot of golf, and I got back into golf. And one day I felt like I had, an issue with my back, and I went and saw a chiropractor. Chiropractor put me on a drop table, and I couldn't walk for 3 days. And I was like, well, this isn't good. So, I went and started seeing a bunch of, doctors and things like that. And it ended up being, I have what's called spinal stenosis and degenerative disc disease. So, I had to have L4 and L5 fused in my back. So now I'm stuck at home. And then 3 weeks later, C5, C6 collapsed in my back, because it's like, your back is like, anything else. You have a weak link and something else happens, and so it was just, it ended up happening. So I ended up having that, and then I had to have a resurgery, my L4, L5 redone for a third surgery. So I was laid up at home, and I needed something to do, and the doctors all, well, you need a hobby. And my hobby was playing golf or RC racing for the last 30 years. So I decided, Mindy said, why don't you just get a car and tinker with it? I'll drive you down to the track and, you can do whatever you want to do. And so I ended up, I made some phone calls around and I talked to Jason Snyder from Raw Speed, because at that time he was doing, his all his YouTube stuff where he was doing these reviews of everything. And I guess I didn't know at the time, but I guess the stock nationals, or no, the nationals were like a month away when I asked him this question. And I said, "Hey man," I said, what do you think I should do? I'm going to go back and I'm going to try to race stock, in 2-wheel drive. Lord, did I not know what I was getting into. But I said, what's going to be, what do you think? What's the best car out there to try and do it? And, he goes, "Are you going to make a run for the nationals?" I'm like, "No, I'm going to go to OCRC and I'm going to try to drive an RC car." So he says, "If you can make a low C car go around the track, you're doing quite well." He goes, "If you can make it fast." Right. Mm-hmm. And anybody who knows me from back in the day or whatever, I love to tinker. I'm a tinkerer. I'm a person who's going to make the car and I'm going to change it and I'm going to do whatever and I'm going to make it right. And so, the wife's on there. "Hey, baby, hope you're having fun in Vegas." So I was a tinkerer and I wanted to tinker. And I went to, I purchased an SR, which was the wrong car to buy for stock racing, because it had the slipper eliminator. No, you needed a slipper. And then it had, all this aluminum dog bones. No, you wanted steel dog bones. So I'm just like, oh my God, I've got to, change all of this stuff. And so I ended up doing this, and I ended up going to OCRC, and I'm like, I practiced a couple times. Right. And I'm like, I got this. So I'm going to race on a Sunday. Woo! Talk about an ass kicking. Right.
Stock was different, eh?
Oh man. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Right. And I'm like, this is not working for me. Got to charge the batteries at this, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and you got to have the fastest, these motors, and you got to do, and I'm like, oh wow, this is not good. Well, now I have a low C car, right? And everybody's all, oh, you got to do, you got to get an associated car, or you got to do this, or you got to do that. And I just made my car, good. I tuned it. I got it good. Well, they're working on the 5.0, the TLR 5.0. And Frank Root was down there, and I had my car pretty good with suspension package and all the other stuff. And I got it to the point where I was very fast in stock down there. And it only took a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks of me actually going down there and tinkering. Luckily I was off work because I was on, disability, recovering and stuff like that. But it was still difficult to do these things. But I ended up getting the car good. And, I was talking to Frank about things, and then Frank brought it up to Kevin Gahan. Kevin came down and he was testing the 5.0 there at one point, who was the team manager before Thomas Tran. And, we just started talking and everything. And it was like, hey, do you want to, help with some consulting, we'll give you some parts and you go out and you drive it and whatever, and, let us know. And so Frank was really helpful with that. And I started going down to SDRC and I was testing some stuff and, with them, and it just worked out that way. And then one day, I got a message that said, hey, we want to have a meeting with you. So it was Frank Root, Kevin Gahan, Todd Hodge in a meeting, and, Todd runs, TLR. So it was, hey, would you consider, coming on and helping out, situation? What do you want for it? And at the time I was like, well, parts would be nice, some parts. I never asked for a budget or anything. I just, some parts would be nice. So ended up getting, they ended up giving me the title of, team consultant, and, and that was, pretty cool and everything. And I had never really, other than the O'Donnell thing, I had never really got into A scale much, but I loved it. Like when I drove it, it was so much fun. And Pavitas back in the day, the year Dakota came, I think Sontag's fallen asleep. The year Dagani won the Worlds, Pavitas was trying to get me to go down to Uruguay and run because he said it's like pretty much an on-road track, So
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but that would have been it. And then, I mean, that was it. So it just worked into that. And then the first year I went to DNC, Dakota was in the B main, and I mean, we literally figured out, I literally figured out there was an issue with the shocks, and I pretty much just gave up my whole race and started working on the shocks. And Dakota went from the B main, bumped up, and then finished second behind Mayfield. So it was just little things we changed. I went out and walked the track with him before the race, picked out the lines, and realized that Dakota's a sponge. He will take in a lot of stuff and understand things and really be to the point of wanting to learn, but having the confidence still there to know that he can still overcome some things. So that was the first year of doing that. And he ended up being second, at that race. And then we went to the Silver State. And Kevin Gahan said, "Hey, can you come to the Silver State?" And that was when, I met Reno. I met Reno at DNC that year. And then Reno and I roomed together. Then ever since, it's always, "Hey, roomie, hey, roomie."
Right, because he was on Losi, right? He was in TLR.
This was with TLR, yeah. And this is like the start of everything to get going, in that year. And that year, Dakota had Truggy won and a shock tower broke.
I was there. I remember that. I was there.
He was lapping the field at like 15 minutes in Truggy. And, and then in Buggy, he was leading again and his receiver shut off, or, his radio unbound, wrecked him, damn near killed him. So we, so just things like that happened, and we moved on, and it progressively got more and more, to where I was just trying to lend a hand, and I got into some testing, and they wanted me to, to work, and at that time there was like this limbo of who's working on the car. And, with the 8X, it was Brian Kinney, who was, the engineer. And then you had, Dunford, but there were still issues with the car. I think if everybody remembers, they went to the first nationals, and I think they were like in the C main with it or something like that.
That was like 2018, right?
Oh, who knows? And then they went to the Worlds, and they had issues with it being, making it into the box because, it was like too wide, and they had to do a bunch of changes and everything to it. And it's like, with stuff like that, you start thinking, okay, well, how can cars like this come out, and be like this? Well, everybody would talk, and I'm like, it is what it is kind of thing. And we you move on from that. And we started making the 8X better and, going out to the track and testing and doing all that stuff. And then the 2.0 was designed. And if everybody remembers, I mean, still at this point, Dakota was fast, but he wasn't, he was fast, and he wasn't really, he was winning races when we figured out, okay, you got to narrow the rear end up. You got to put the hubs on, the offset, all of this stuff going on here. And so we ended up getting it to where the car was better for him. And then it was time, okay, we're going to go with the 2.0. We're going to make square pills, and we're going to do this. And this is the idea that they're going to go down, right? And quite honestly, I had nothing to do with, other than going out and driving this, the design of the car and everything was nothing. Yet Dakota goes to we go to the Silver State the one year, and struggle bus, like couldn't even get out of his own way at the race. And all of a sudden it's like, well, Barry F the car up. Oh yeah. You don't know how many messages I got that I screwed the car up.
But you had nothing to do with it.
It was completely my fault why Dakota didn't make the main. Why he's struggling all of a sudden. Now, granted, materials are different. All this other stuff's different. You know, out drives are way too hard. All this stuff. But when it all came down to it, the car just wasn't tested enough, in my opinion. And quite honestly, it was all of our faults by saying, let's just go and run the car. You know, so I mean, it was, you know, it takes a whole village to, you know, to get everything going. But what people don't understand is I've never been paid by TLR.
Okay.
Ever. This was all voluntary work.
Right. Taking time off work.
Taking time off of work, going to races. I mean, yes, they would, you know, they would take care of, you know, the hotel or whatever. Okay. But
time costs money.
You know, it was my time. You know, it was my effort. It was the hours I put in at home. You know,
you built his cars at home, right?
I would work. Oh yeah. I would work at, you know, 8 hours a day and then come home and build cars and go to on the weekend and test. And I mean, I'm taking time away from doing stuff with Mindy. I'm taking time, you know, taking time away from doing stuff with the family to go out and, you know, do this stuff. So, I mean, it started to wear and everything. And I mean, year after year after year, it was starting to wear a little bit more. But I mean, the good thing is we started turning things around.
That's true. Very true.
And I mean, anybody who knows, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how good you make a car. Doesn't matter how bad the car is. If the guy behind the wheel decides he wants to drive it and he's really good at it, he's going to make the car look good or he's going to make the car look bad. Okay. And luckily for Horizon, they have Dakota Phend.
Best all-around off-road driver in the world right now. That's what I have him as.
There's no question about it.
Put him anywhere and he can win. Or be a threat to him.
I've worked with him and I will never, ever, ever say anything bad about that kid.
And I just want
other than he likes to rib people if you really know him.
See, and I don't know that side of him, but what I do like about Phend is it don't matter if he's having a bad time or he's just had a shitty run or whatever, he's willing to talk, right? When you want to do an interview. I'll never forget after DNC, not last year, and I went up to the interview and he goes, "Did you see that fucking mess out there?" Like he was so upset about the mid-pack mess, right? I was like, dude, I know, like that whole mid-pack was crazy. I think he finished 4th. Ronald finished 5th, and that whole mid-pack at DNC was crazy. Just guys hitting each other, everything.
It's kind of funny because you can be on the headset, and I mean, Sontag will laugh at this one. You can be on the headset with him, and all you hear is like heavy breathing, right? And then if there's a mistake that happens, you know if it was his mistake or if it was somebody else's mistake by either fuck or fuck me. You know, when the me is added, it's his fault.
Okay.
But
I mean, without question, the last 2 years has been exceptional for him. He's been doing really well at these races. I mean, look at this. He got all it. Last year was a great year. He won his first Fuel Nationals. He won, obviously he won E-Nationals. He won 10 scale, but it was just him and Mayfield, and then throw in a Testman once in a while. But him and Mayfield went on a tour last year, and then he started off this year with a bang of AMS. Probably should have won silver. Should have probably won DNC, right? But had some issues, or just kind of, I don't know what happened at DNC, but definitely went from. I'm gonna say this because you get mad at us. He went from fending, which was not finishing races, to beating these guys and living up to. It was quite widely known. Like they would say, Phend can only win at 5-minute runs and all this type of stuff. Well, he started beating guys. He demolished guys this past nationals, like demolished them. He beat guys from the start. Like, I don't think if
Can
people
I,
could even
can I
understand
tell you something about this year's nationals?
What up?
Okay. So we're in practice and we're in seating, and he's fast in seating, right? You saw it, seeds number 1, everything. And he comes back and he goes, I need more steering.
What?
And I said to him, dude, you're already 0.3 faster than anybody else. And you know what he says to me? Imagine how fast I'd be if I had steering. So guess what?
You gave him more steering?
We gave him more steering. But I mean, it's like working with Dakota is really fun because he can break down the car. He can break down a corner for me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he can tell me that going into the corner, it does this. Middle of the corner, it does that. Coming out of the corner, it does this. Right? And there's times where he's come in and he said, I need more steering, but I need less grip in the rear. Okay?
Mm.
2 totally different things. Okay?
Right. He wants the grip to break loose.
I need to get into the corner harder. Okay? I need less grip means I need less forward bite or less. I need the car to finish the corner instead of, coming off the corner and going straight. Mm-hmm. So most people would say, well, just loosen the rear end up. It'll give you both, but it won't.
Mm-hmm.
You're still lacking the steering going in.
Right. You're just loosening the rear up and it's breaking.
All you're doing is loosening the rear up.
Right.
So, but when somebody can tell you that and can understand and can feel the car out, and then, you go out the next run and, the first lap, he's like, finally, you're like, okay, we're good. So
he demolished those guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's Dakota. It's the confidence. That's the thing that this kid, you're not going to break him. That's
and he doesn't seem to
right
get
now.
flustered. Not that I see. He doesn't publicly get flustered or let it show. Like, he's just kind of like, yeah, this happened. This is what's going to happen. And I'm going to go, I'm just going to go race. And
you're not going to break him. I mean, he's got a very good program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whether I'm there or not, he's got a good program. Okay.
But I think you helped out a lot because it went from,
I did. And a lot of people I'm going to go further. I'm keeping everybody on here. Okay. But I'm going to go further and let you know actually what was said. Everybody thinks that I just abandoned ship.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't abandoned ship, but that's for down the road right now. We're still talking about, some other things, and the reason why I've made the decisions why I've made. Mm-hmm. But for now, like I tried to say, a couple years ago, Dakota called me after a race. I want to say it was the Southern Nats right after the race was over. And he goes, Barry, I figured it out. And I go, what do you mean? He goes, I figured it out.
He won that one.
Right. And I go, what'd you figure out? And he goes, I figured out you don't have to drive 100%.
No shit. No way.
Nitro race.
No way.
And
he's right though.
And I went, yes, there you go. And ever since then, what's it been like? He can manage a race now.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with you.
He manages a race. Now, was that me trying to explain things to him? Was that me trying to get in his ear? Was that me trying to, do anything? If it was, hey, great. But it's also maturity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's been in this forever. And I'll tell you what, he's got, I mean, if he can have the mental fortitude he has with Mike Sontag at every race with him, that's strong mental attitude, because Sontag can break you down.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've only talked to him a few times. I need to probably go talk to him some more and have some laughs with him.
He is so fun to talk to and get into it with him. And, I'm not just saying this because, it's Mike, it's Mike. And I mean, I heard a lot of things about Tater, coming into the team, and I really didn't know him. And I sat him down at one race, and I said, Tater, and I think he remembers the story. Hopefully he remembers the time, but I think we're in Vegas the first year I ever met him and Mike. And I said, you are exactly like I was. I said, I was a hothead. I had a bad reputation. I have this, I have that, I have this. And I said, you have got to get to the point, where let's work on it and make it a better position. And now he's like, he's growing into himself now.
I would say so. He's matured a lot because he had a very bad name.
But he's got a great mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a great family behind him. You know what I mean? It's like he's got, Nikki's full force. Mike is there, with Tater every step of the way. Dakota's there, to help him out with Tater. So, I mean, it's sure, I've spent a lot of time with these guys in the last couple of years, but I've seen a lot of growth from both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've even grown from them. I've flown off the handle many times. I've been a little bitch. I'm 100%. I take blame for everything I've ever done, because I wouldn't be the person that I am, today without the passion that I have. But I still had passion, even being down in the pits. I want to win. And I don't just want to win. I want to crush people.
But that's what it takes. That passion to want to win, to want to beat everybody. If you ain't got the attitude, you ain't gonna do it. But
deep down inside, I think Dakota has that same attitude.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
sure,
he probably just doesn't let it show. He can't let it show.
He wants to crush people. And I mean, he's proved it.
He crushed everybody at the Nationals.
I mean, that's one race.
I know, but it was just impressive.
Yeah, I mean, everything came together at the perfect time. It was a perfect storm. If I didn't screw up Truggy, he would have won both back to back. So
it was good. I enjoyed the Nationals. It was very good. It was an interesting track, and he was clearly the fastest just from the get go. Right? It was no question.
He wasn't. He wasn't the fastest from the get go.
It looked like it.
No,
if I remember correctly, who was faster?
No, He was fourth or fifth the first run back, and then he progressively got quicker. And I remember, because I was laughing about it, I said I came back and I said, well, at least you're the fastest of the people who didn't come and practice.
Right. And also, I think he was so pissed off when he didn't wrap up TQ in the third qualifier. I think it was 4, right? So he ran out of fuel.
Well, that was a calculated move right there.
Right.
Okay. He made the decision on the fly, because he crashed like the first lap, he crashed like 2 times. And Sontag in his ear literally said, well, this is the time to try it.
You know what's amazing about this guy is that you'll see him doing this type of crashes, and he'll be like, man, he's down in like 7th or 8th, right? And the guy just comes out and he TQs the run. It's I say this, I've said it over and over. Best all around. Like I think he was probably the fastest North American at the Worlds last year. Unfortunately, he had issues. He had to start in the LCQ, but in the LCQ, he dusted those guys.
Keenan, I'm going to say this right now, and I haven't said it out loud to anybody ever before, and I don't want anybody to give me crap about this that's listening. But if I was at the Worlds, he wins the Worlds.
Right. You wasn't there.
Was not there.
For some reason, I thought you was there.
I would put my left nut on that.
I don't know how you wasn't there. Why? Anyway.
I couldn't get away from work.
Right.
I was working. I was, my job. I love my job. My job is awesome. I have an awesome boss that races and everything. And I mean, I've been there 13 years, and we were working. We were opening up a new lab, and at the time that it all worked itself out, it was that week we were supposed to open up a new research lab. and I couldn't be there. You know, I couldn't be at the Worlds because I had to be there to open up the lab. And it ended up not working out. That the lab had to end up being opened up. The lab had to open up later on, which means I probably could have gone. In fact, my boss 2 days before the World said, "Buy yourself a ticket, get on a flight, go there, be there for Dakota." Well, I couldn't, you know.
Was you screaming at the television or like messaging people when you was watching it?
So it was 1:30 in the morning when the semi came up. And I'm lucky that I could watch the final because I think my computer almost got broken. And then he had to do the LCQ. And in the LCQ, as everybody knows, there was a little issue in pit lane, but nobody panicked. Okay. And he came back and he won the race in the LCQs, you know, which is lucky because any other year other than that year, he's not even in the main. And then he came back and he made that awesome finish. I mean, do I think he could have finished third with what he had right there? Yes. I think he could have run down Canas, but I mean, it was right at that edge of his tires are gone and they're playing with the, you know, thing. And then, you know, we have the issue where, you know, he pops a glow plug or whatever. But I mean, he's only pops a glow plug because he's spinning the hell out of the tires and just revving the hell out of it because he's got no drive anymore. So, but I mean, the what he did to come through there. I mean, same thing with Ronnefolk. I mean, Ronnefolk stepped on his dick at that race, in my opinion.
I would agree with you there.
You know,
I would agree with you there. We had that conversation today, me and JQ.
Yeah, I mean, he stepped on it. But you know, Ongaro deserves it. He's there. He's confident when he goes racing. You know, he's one of the best in the world. You know, there's
agree with you.
You know, there's 5 guys, 6 guys that you can say are the best in the world, and you know, everybody else may get upset about it, but you know, at any time these guys can win. And you had a big rant. You had a big rant the other day about, you know, why the U.S. guys don't go over to Europe. Well, most of the time when the European guys come over to the States, they get their ass handed to them.
Who, the European guys?
Most of them.
Yeah, it happens, but they've also won.
Exactly. Okay. But they're playing on even playing ground most of the time. Okay. When you go over there, you're talking about a track that's been put in, you know, they've been in there for a while and stuff like that. It's going to take most people, but the top echelon guys, whether it be a Mayfield, whether it be a Dakota, whether it be anybody, you know, that are the top, we're still fighting for the win at the end of the weekend.
I have a question about that. Do you feel, I've been thinking about this because I know the permanent track is a big deal, and I get that. Do you feel, I kind of feel it's also the style of track. Redevon is like, if you watch that track, it's huge, right? But it's fast. It's a lot of corner speed. You can't ease off the fuel, can't really come off the throttle too much. If you do, you're just dropping back. You don't, in America, there's not many tracks like that. It's point and shoot. It's 180 jump, 180 jump, you know, a 90, not too much like that. Do you feel it's more also that factor that they don't get on those type of tracks as much as they should? Okay.
No. A good driver is a good driver.
Okay. I would agree there as well.
You know, a good driver is a good driver. They're going to drive everywhere. Nobody's going to make excuses for them, especially themselves. Like, you know, sometimes you hear these top drivers that make excuses. Oh my God, you know, I had a bad tire, especially in touring car. Oh, I had a bad set of tires. I had this, you know, tires sucked, you know, all this other, you hear that all the time in touring car, you know.
You heard an offer it too.
Well, I mean, but hey, but sometimes you have, you know, in touring car, you have, you know, handout tires. In A scale off-road, there isn't a handout tire. It's not a race, you know, And I feel like if you sign a contract to run somebody's tires, you run their tires, whether you win, lose, draw, whatever, right? You've made that decision. You lay in your bed.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, we would say Runnerfox doing the same thing right now.
But I mean, eventually they're going to get, the thing down, because I know Christian works really hard, and, and Christian and Nicola don't see eye to eye. Oh, so Nicola wants to crush Christian. Yeah. And Christian wants to crush Nicola.
That's a rivalry right there. That is a rivalry.
And Jason laughs the whole time. because there ain't a tire in the U.S. that can keep up, especially the indoor stuff with JC stuff right now.
No, not especially at this weekend that we're coming up to. It's going to be.
Well, I mean, just currently. I mean, it is what it is. So, but I think we got way off track here because we were talking about the whole TLR thing and everything going forward on that. And that's probably me because I go in 57 different directions when I'm talking.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
But as far as TLR goes, it just worked into I had to earn Dakota's trust. And I think I have. Who knows? I don't, I said, do you trust me? And he's like, yeah. And I said, okay, then we're going to change this for the main. But when you work with somebody like Dakota or anybody of the top drivers, and I mean, just like in real racing, Danny Stockman will tell you this, okay? The driver has to trust you to make changes. Now, in real racing, a bad change could end the guy's career.
Yeah.
In RC racing, you're rebuilding the car. That's all you're doing. You know what I mean? So, but it's still the same because it's the livelihood, especially when it comes down to a main event. If you're making a change right before the main and somebody's, confident or not confident in the changes, you gotta live and you gotta die by it, kind of thing. And I think that we communicate at the races very well, and like I said, I learned to understand his lingo and what he means with talking about things like that. So to go back to everything, and like everybody wants to know right now, are we done? I'm hoping not, but it's not up to me.
Right.
Will I personally continue to run TLR products and anything under the Horizon brand? No, I will not.
Can we talk about that? Because I had heard, you had told me about this about a month before the Nationals. I remember you said, yeah, I might have some big news. And then we talked a little bit at the Nationals. And I guess I did not know you was not getting compensated for your time. And then you kind of said something to me at the Nationals like, whoa, wow. Because, hey, man, time is money. And this is a job, right? It may not have been a full-time job for you, but it was part-time. And you took time off from work, time off from your wife, and all that stuff. And that has to be compensated for. I mean, if they can, for me, I personally feel if they can't see the positive things that you've bought into, because let's be honest, Horizon has not had a very Horizon TLR. I would say that since Drake left, right, back in 2015, since they fired Drake in 2015, they have not really, I would say Dakota Phend kind of have just dug them out of that hole lately, in the last 2 years.
Let me cut you off, Lefty, right now, okay? Okay. I'm not going to get JQ'd on this, okay? There will be no cease and desist that's coming out for this.
I might get one, though.
Okay. No. But I will tell you this straight up, okay? The people at Horizon headquarters, the people who are in charge of making the decisions,
I understand that,
have no clue on anything that I've done. Okay? Like, there were hierarchies that came out to Silver State one time, and they're just like, oh, that's Dakota's mechanic. That's what I was known as. So, but I will tell you this, the people who are at TLR, whether it be Todd Hodge, whether it be Ryan Dunford, even Thomas Tran, I mean, they're all overworked. I don't care what anybody says.
Well, I would say Tran's now what? Trinity guy too?
Four companies at once.
Incredible.
Let's get one right before we try to do four.
And no regional managers, I'm told. No regional team managers.
Let's try to get one correct where you can spend the time and do one proper.
I would not want to be Thomas Tran right now. And all for the I'm sure
but
he's
that's not,
that's corporate though.
Exactly. And if somebody says I can't do that, what does corporate do?
Get somebody that can.
We'll get somebody that can do it.
I know.
So why would anybody want to literally stick their head out for anybody if it's going to get chopped off?
I understand that. And you have to do that for the same wage, right?
But it's a corporate world. And now I'm going to get obliterated. I'll probably get obliterated from Todd or Ryan or somebody for saying this, or Kramer or whoever back at Horizon for saying that. But the God's honest truth is
I agree.
that it needs to be restructured. There are too many jobs. These guys work their asses off. Okay. And there's not enough time to get everything done.
And not only that, the attention that's needed to do those jobs is the sacrifice. Like, I've been a team manager, and not on the scale that these guys are doing it. For the whole, like, what is it? Proline, aka Trinity now, and TLR. That's actually 4 people's jobs. And I heard that they have no real regional team managers, if I'm heard correctly, right? They got rid of the regional team managers or whatever, people, the regional team managers.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, it all started. Okay. God. Okay. I was told not to be a wimp, or in words from Sontag and Dakota, don't be a pussy tonight. But it was, nobody knows the reason why Cavallari got let go.
Okay.
Corporate decisions.
Pencil
Gotta
pushers.
make room. Gotta make
money.
Gotta make room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I telling something that people don't know that is completely false? Well, if I am, then I was lied to. Because you don't know how many times I've been told, we can't do that, we can't do this. And then you get told from another person, sure, we can make this part, or sure, we can do this. And then you get told from a third person, that's not possible. Well, where's the communication gap? Who's not saying what to who, to where, to when, to why?
Wow.
It's like, when people bring out a new program, let's go our RPP,
which I think is great.
Where do you get the money?
They have to pay. I mean, they're paying cash, right? Or checks or bank accounts. So where's that money coming from?
Where's it come from?
Well, they
now
have
you got to
money.
make cutbacks.
Right.
Because you aren't increasing. The sales aren't going to increase overnight.
No. And then you cut back on the sponsorship. So there goes. Look, I'm not saying that's wrong, right? We definitely have to get a leash on sponsorship. And I agree with a lot of things Horizon did on that side of things. But it's not coming back into racing, right? It's not, because if it was, it would have been people like you could have got compensated. Cavallari probably would have still been on the team, stuff like that.
I know deep down inside, there are people that work at that company that would absolutely love to go back to the way things used to be.
Yeah, but corporate's not going to do that.
Not going to do it.
I saw a video. I posted a video on my and people's like, why'd you post this boring video? Some guy was explaining why.
And you know the worst thing about this video right now, Lefty,
what?
is I'm probably digging myself in such a big hole that they may not allow me to work with Dakota anymore.
You know what? The good thing about that is we have
And
proof
I pray that that doesn't happen, because I sent an email. So the what people don't understand is I had a very, very good conversation with Dakota at Silver State.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people knew that the Nats was my, I won't say swan song, but it was, I need to step away. And what people didn't know is on Sunday, I was passing a kidney stone at the Nationals. I was in so much pain at the Nationals. It was ridiculous. I was urinating blood there. It was not fun.
I would have never known because you was still yourself.
Well, I was trying to get a job done.
Mm-hmm.
So but you know, to go back to it, I mean, so I had that conversation. Dakota and I talked. I said, I'm going to send an email and let's see what kind of, response I get. And this is the God's honest truth, because somebody posted the other day that, oh, Barry's not telling the truth. There's more behind this story. There's no more behind the story. There's no more to this. It was, I did not agree with some of the decisions that were handed down from corporate, and people's hands were tied. Thomas's hands, Todd's hands, Dunford's hands, everybody's hands were tied. Right. And then some of the decisions that were being made, I did not agree with. And if I'm not getting paid and, they want to say, well, we're compensating you with, product. I never asked for it.
You're not a big racer either.
No, but I never even asked for product. I was lucky. They gave me, when I first got sponsored by Kevin, he gave me the Team 5S deal, which was like the greatest thing ever. Mm-hmm. I got everything at like cost at the time. It was awesome. Right? I was like, wow, this is cool. Right? And then they're like, oh, we're going to give you a budget. I never asked for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I said, hey, now that I'm not going to be on the team anymore, I said, you should give the budget, my budget, which is, I've told Thomas multiple times, you guys give me way too much stuff. I don't need this.
Product's easier to give. See,
how many people out there in the world say my budget is too big?
It's just easier to give product.
Okay,
because they have so much.
I said, I don't want it. I said, give this to Tater. He can use it.
Mm-hmm.
Give this to Cole. Spread it out amongst those two, the two guys that I want to give it to. Here, I'm grandfathering this down. Crickets.
Wow.
Absolute crickets.
I've defended Horizon a lot, right? I've defended them a lot. But I mean, honestly, I did not know you was not getting compensated, right? And to me, I find that extremely shocking.
Mayfield at every race is a crack up. He'll walk over and go, Barry, you work way too hard for how much you get paid. Oh, wait, you don't get paid.
That's unfortunate, man, because honestly, I feel that you are a positive influence on his program. I mean, it's the results speak for itself, right? The man, the last 2 years has been on a turn. Yes, of course, he's the man behind the radio.
You guys keep saying, everybody keeps saying this. Oh, you were a big help to his program. You know what I was a help to? I took a lot of pressure off of him that he at a race, he can relax and get his tires ready, work with Jason, check the track out. And when his car went on the track, okay, it wasn't going to fall apart.
Right. A big positive influence on his race program.
Okay. But that being said, he still had to drive it.
I agree.
Okay. He was going to make or break it, not me. Even though I broke it at the Nats in Truggy, but that was completely an oversight, but it happens,
Something about the motor mount, right?
Yeah. Like I should have known that the motor mount was broke. I should have taken more time it's just little things you take for granted. Will I ever let that happen again? Hell no. Not going into a main event. Hell no.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Did you go into this thinking that at some point that they would compensate you, or did it come down to the point when you said, "Hey, I need to be compensated," or did you have this conversation prior in times past?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Would I like to have been compensated? Absolutely. Because who doesn't like to have an extra few $100s to go to Vegas and do some gambling with? But would I have liked an appreciation? Hey, end of the year, we did awesome kind of thing. Here's, a bonus or whatever. I'd have been more than happy with that.
Right. I get that. Appreciation. Appreciation. I get that.
Yeah. But it's sometimes you just feel underappreciated. Where people say, "Oh, we always told you we appreciated you." And we always, I've always said that I appreciated you. Yeah. When I talk to you 1 time a year, 2 times a year. But when it all comes down to it, okay, I left Horizon. Okay. I did not abandon Dakota.
Got you. I understand that.
Okay?
I understand that.
I left Horizon to enjoy my time at the track again. Like everybody's asking, "Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to, what kind of car are you going to run? What's going to happen?" And I can tell you right now, okay, that I have a new sponsor.
Ooh, but are you announcing it now?
I'm announcing it right now.
Are you bringing out your wallet?
Okay. It is Visa. Okay.
You was going to do that. I knew you was going to do that.
Because I have already purchased a couple cars and I'm just going to go out and I'm going to run them. And I am going to have fun. And I'm going to tinker.
I have a question for you. Let's say you don't work with Dakota anymore. Thanks for the card number, Barry.
There's no card number on the front. I already checked that out when I did that, Camden, but hey, no problem.
What's up, Sea Lime? How you doing? Is there anybody out there that you would be interested, that you think is has potential and would benefit from your expertise? Would you, if you was, give me a couple names you think you would like to work with?
Not going to happen.
Jeez, man.
Not
guys are trying to guess what cars you got. Did you get 10 scale cars or 8 scale cars?
8 scale.
You're not even give us a hint to what you bought?
What's that?
Not even gonna tell us what you bought?
Not yet.
Damn it, Barry.
So.
Okay, better question. What cars interest you out there?
And that is 100% true, Smiley. Don't worry, they're coming. But you can't post them.
What cars interest you out there right now?
I've always been interested to just like take a hot bodies apart and look at it.
Oh my gosh, you got a new hot bodies.
So I've always been that kind of thing. And I mean, if anybody knows, there is somebody in this industry that just does not get enough credit, and that's Walker Spinrad.
I give him a lot of credit.
Okay. That guy, you don't understand. Like every morning I'm like driving to work and I'm talking to that dude. And we are, we're laughing, about situations and stuff like that. And I mean, he is the go-to guy for them. And I think he's underappreciated where he's at. And I mean, there's just,
I just like because he sends it. If it's a jump out there, he's going to figure out how to do it.
I love the guy.
Did he just message you? Spin Radical?
No. Actually, that was Frankie Contreras.
What's up, FCJ?
That just messaged me. Yeah.
All right.
Pups,
Hey,
I love Frankie. That's family right there.
I like Frankie too.
And it doesn't matter who I race for or whatever. I will always be there for Frankie and Junior and stuff. And they know that.
We need to get Frankie over to the East Coast races. East Coast races.
Hunter, funny story. Funny story about that, his comment right there. So when I worked for O'Donnell, okay, O'Donnell literally had a meeting with Traxxas to try to develop an A-scale car with Steve O'Donnell. It was going to be called TOR, Traxxas O'Donnell Racing.
Where is Steve O'Donnell now? John Moore wants to know.
I just messaged him the other day because I went out to Leg Lake to watch Wally run some.
I heard you was out there.
Yeah. I went out there to hang out and just watch pretty much paint dry with those things. That's not really cool. But
RC boats are awesome. You got to see the
no. The monohull stuff is like watching paint dry. Okay, those outriggers.
Oh, they're fast.
That can do like 10-1 or 10-2 around a lap or something. I would go that. So
I have a bigger one right there. That's that yellow thing right there.
Yeah.
So one person says, what does Spin Radical do? Why is he underappreciated? Are you meaning at Hot Bodies, what he's doing now?
No, that guy puts in a lot of effort. He really does. And he's helped out the team a lot. And every question, I mean, he goes to the races and he helps out. He went to the Worlds and helped out Cole. Mm-hmm. He spent 2 weeks with Cole back in thing. I think Cole appreciates him to a certain point, and I mean, they're friends and everything. But what I mean by underappreciated is that guy should be, he should be at races helping out the team. He should be a team manager in my position. In my eyes. That's in good. My eyes.
Okay. I like Walker. I like him. Yeah. I always call him the J Smoker Jr. because he sends it all the time.
The slasher. That's what I call him.
Slasher. Camden
Camden knows you can call Walker up and it doesn't matter what you run. He's going to hook it up. He's going to help you out. He understands. He comes from a racing background. He comes from a motocross background. So he understands setup. So yeah, he understands the way a shock should work. No, it's the truth. Some people think, oh my God, you got to do this to a shock. You got to do that to a shock. No, you got to keep the freaking tire on the ground, dog.
I agree.
So,
the Spin Radical one.
Yeah. So,
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that's one guy that is out there that I love to talk to. I love talking with Walker. I really do.
So it sounds like Barry's got himself a hot body. It's probably one of the new ones.
I'm not going to lie. It is one on my list. Yes.
Ooh. Maybe you got a Sparko too.
I think the most underrated car out there is a Kyosho.
They're coming back. There were two of them in the main at DNC.
What's that?
There were two of them in the main.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, there's the Kyosho, which I think is, an underrated vehicle. Always been good. That car.
It's got the most world champions. It's got the most world champions out of any brand out there. World championships. But it was also at a time when Kyosho, and that was it. Kyosho and Mugen, that was it. So
now here's something I'm going to say, and Dakota goes out and he wins, right? But does he have the best car out there? In my opinion, I don't think so.
You mean the actual car that he's running now?
I'm sorry to say, with all the testing and everything and everybody behind that car and everything, do I think he has the best car out there? No. Do I think the TLR car could be the best car out there? Yes. With probably 2 changes to it, but that will not happen.
Is it that just Horizon has no interest in the racing side of things, or just the racing side of things just doesn't make any money for them?
I don't know. I've asked this question before, and everybody can go and laugh about it with me. But I've asked the question. I never really got an answer. And I think I've said this to multiple people. The company that you race for, okay? Ask them this: are you a racing company, or are you a company that goes racing? Because there's a difference. Okay. And Max will tell you right there, racing doesn't make money.
No, it doesn't.
But
it costs money.
But if you're a big corporate world and you have all these other companies around you and you want to promote your product and everything, you can do that. But like this weekend, what's this weekend? Axial Fest.
Huge.
They'll spend more at Axial Fest than probably what the whole budget racing is for the year.
Well, they'll make that segment make so much money for them, right?
Oh yeah.
So much money.
We're really over 200 people watching.
Yeah, dude. 205.
No way. It's an hour 22. I haven't bored everybody yet.
No. And we're gonna get people started here.
But yes, I mean,
Axial's,
like John Moore says, racing is great advertising. Well, it all depends.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it all depends on what you do. I mean, is there going to be a boost in sales at Horizon with the dirt bike? Absolutely. But will that slow down after a few months when people only buy one? Absolutely.
Do you think that those bikes? No, I am positive about the bikes. I think that they will get new people to tracks. And probably, hopefully, racing after that. What do you think about that? Like sort of like the Slash did. Jesus, Barry, you like want to go off on me right now?
No, I'm trying to think. I think that people are going to try to race them.
Yes, and I think that's going to not be a success.
Well, I mean, first off, until you get, you're going to get 3 of these bikes that are going to pound each other into the ground, off a jump, and then somebody's going to go to drive their bike away and they're driving the wrong one, right? Until you get like these special, design. That's the cool thing about RC racing. Until you get like a night race where everybody wants to run a yellow body. But everybody has their own, little paint schemes, and this, and you go out there and you have a good time. Now, is the bike a fad? Who cares? It's a fucking killer design.
Oh, yeah, it's badass. No.
I mean, what Junior and Frank and them and everybody that was involved with it, holy cow. Unbelievable, right? But it's like I've told people, why has nobody come out with a paddle tire and a Razorback front so people can take it out to the desert?
I get all of that, but what I'm trying, this is my theory. People's gonna buy them, but like, hey, we got a track. They go to a track, they see that these bikes don't work on those tracks. Let's say 10 people go to the track. If we can get 5 of those people to see the other like buggies or whatever they're racing that's good, that's what they're gonna race, and then we get more races in. I think that is actually what I think the bike will do for RC racing, not the actual racing of the bike.
I mean, let's see how it goes forward in the marketing side of it. Like, if I was literally them, I would be at every single motocross race.
I agree.
With a try me track. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's what I would do. I would be at the Supercross or the SXMX finals, with a table out there and all these try-me's and have a good time and get people involved in it there, even if it's a freaking oval.
I agree.
Just have people go, oh my God, this is cool. But has that been done? Was anybody at Redbud? No. The bikes were out. Why not?
I thought Nunez would be all over that.
No, I'm just saying that this is in my eyes what has happened. Now, did they do this? I don't know. I'm not in the loop. I'm not in meetings. I'm not in this. This is my own personal opinion. Okay? That if I was in charge of that, this is what I would have done to explode the thing.
We're not thinking big. Here's my thing. I think as an industry, I think that the manufacturers are so worried. I've said this before, so worried about getting 1 or 2 drivers at one of these races where we have the same people going to the race, that there's no actual thought into showing what we do racing to the world.
I mean, this is what they're doing. I mean, look at what they did at Visions. They tried to bring, the Visions, race to the masses. Okay. And A-Main was out there, with a Try-Me track and all this other stuff. Okay. I would have liked to have seen if their sales went up or down from there. I mean, yeah, it's great that they're giving away $30,000 to RC racers. And everybody's like, oh, this is the greatest race ever. This is this is that. Is it because of the money, or was it actually the greatest race ever?
No, I don't think it was. And I personally think that event with people that are there on their own full scale stuff, right? People out there doing their quads and their bikes and their whatever, and there's so much other things going on, and it's not a really spectator friendly event because you got to pay $200 to get in, all that type of stuff. So I think if you put it at a event where spectators are going to be there, they're coming to watch something, and put it somewhere like that, that's how we get attention.
Manufacturers Cup and Manufacturers Cup.
Best race ever. Best race.
By far.
Best.
When they gave away a dirt bike and a quad and stuff like that for the winners.
Best thing ever.
I mean, that was pretty cool. Like Camden says, it's actually one of the favorites if you're a racing fan. But how many people, Camden, came and watched your races?
Because it's so much, they're competing with so many other things.
I mean, a couple dozen.
Yeah,
the families of the RC racers were there watching. No, I'm being serious.
You are spitting truth right here. You are spitting truth.
I'm being dead serious here.
I agree with you 100%. I'm glad you're saying this because everybody thinks I'm just talking shit when I say it.
Well, everybody knows, that everybody knows this is I tell the truth. And you know what? What's funny about it is I tell the truth, and my phone, unless I'm at the track or I'm helping somebody out or doing something, that I only have a handful of friends that I've talked to multiple times in the last year. But you know what? When people want something, they sure call. It's like you tell the truth. And I mean, that's just the way it is. People will either like you or they hate you.
Oh, I know. I know 100%. But
and,
I agree with you. 100%.
Did I burn my bridges at certain companies? Maybe I did. Okay. But with me, it's the ultimate. I'm just passionate about what I do. Okay. Like if I'm going to go do something, okay, I'm going to do it 100%. Not going to do it 50%. Not going to do it 75%. Okay. What people don't understand is that before the Nationals, I spent $1,000 out of my pocket to make sure that our team had the right stuff to go to the race. Because everybody knew we were having issues. It was all over the place. Oh, why are you guys running this? Why are you guys running that? Why are you guys running this? Because we're trying to make the cars faster. And you know what? We figured out what it was, and now they're working to make that a better product for them. Everybody does it. Everybody runs other people's stuff on their car. It's just everybody wanted to blow it up because Dakota's mind-blowingly fast with it.
Oh my gosh.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
though?
get what you're saying. A lot of people use other manufacturers' stuff.
You know, but that all came out of my pocket. And you know what? It came out of my pocket to make sure that our team, it wasn't just for Dakota, it was for Tater, it was for Cole, it was for even Mike Sontag I gave a set to.
I agree.
Okay.
I didn't know all that. You should have been compensated for that.
They'll say I never asked it for anything for it. I shouldn't have to. They should be like, hey man, you know, what do we need to get? But that never happens.
They're not, because it's pencil pushers. It's pencil pushers. Jay Bless is trying to get all the info from you. What was it that you got? Was it
It was shocks. Everybody knew
HB
that.
shocks.
But it wasn't the whole shock. It was literally just a couple parts on it. We still ran a whole lot of TLR stuff on it. So, but in order to get some of the hot body stuff at the time, you had to buy the whole set of things. And they're proud of their parts.
Oh my gosh. All right, Barry.
I bought, believe it or not, I had Kyosho shocks too at that race.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to switch gears.
Wait, what percentage of Phend's buggy made
of
non-TLR or prototype parts? 2%, maybe 1%. It literally was a shock body and the internals. Everything else was TLR.
And thank you, Rick Hayes, for that super chat. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you. $5.
Do I get $250?
You got $250. Well, by the time
be the first time I've been compensated in a while.
Oh, fuck it. Why not? Why not? You know what? Cease and desist coming your way, buddy. Cease and desist coming your way. Probably my way. But let's
What have I said? What have I said for them to cease and desist me? Like, seriously, what have I said?
I mean, dude, I remember I hit you up one time and I was like, Barry, man.
What have I said? What have I said?
Nothing. You said nothing.
Anything about anybody. Like, seriously, what have I done? Please tell me, because if I've defaced or made somebody feel bad or gave somebody a bad name or anything like that, I have not said a single thing that can get me that way.
You know what? We have this video as proof. So that doesn't matter. We ain't worried about that.
No, I'm just saying. I
agree.
I agree. This is the problem with RC. This is like, oh, I can't wait till, this gets out. And I mean, somebody will edit this and we'll do this and we'll do that. And we'll make it to where, Barry's an asshole. Well, trust me, I'm already an asshole.
You know what? And it comes back to, I put a quote up on my Facebook today. I'm going to read it. Right. And, it says, when we avoid difficult conversations, we trade short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction. RC suffers from that in a big, big way. We can't even start discussing stuff before we get told you can't do something before you can even discuss it. Oh, we just can't do that. We can't do that. And I'm tired of hearing that. I want to hear we can do that, right? I understand what you're saying.
You know how many times I've heard that in the last year? We can't do that. That's not possible. We can't. That's going to have to wait. And wow. That kind of stuff really irks me. I mean, frickin' Barry's legal fund. Thanks,
Thank you, Axel. That's my boy.
Dude. But that really irks me to hear that we can't do that. Okay. When you come out with a vehicle, okay, that vehicle is done and dusted. Okay. As that's the new term in RC racing right now. Everybody, this race is done and dusted. I love that one. Okay. But with that, you have, a system where it's like, let's start producing or working towards the next vehicle. Okay. Let's start trying. Let's move forward. Let's try things. Let's not just sit on our laurels and go, well, when they catch us, we'll we'll try something else.
You got to be always on the grind to be better, right? To make it better. It never ends.
It never ends.
Never ends.
Show me the perfect car. I think I had this argument. Didn't I have this argument with JQ?
Probably. You've had
when I
few.
literally said, shouldn't your car be perfect if you know everything? Didn't I say that to him?
I believe so. You've said quite a few things to JQ, so I can't remember them all.
JQ's fun to talk to. JQ's a smart guy.
He is smart.
He is very smart. But just like me, doesn't know when to shut up sometimes.
He does not. He does not. Or does not know when to stop pushing.
You know, I don't know. I'm very hard on myself. I think anybody that knows me and has been around me a long time I'm very hard on myself, and I tell a lot how it is. So, you know, and I mean, what's that?
All right. Thank you, Rick Hayes, because he sent us another super chat, and he goes, we was going to get on this topic, so we might as well segue into that. I want to say one thing to you, Barry, right? I believe that, look, Dakota Phend has to drive the car and he has to do all that stuff, but I believe you were one of the people that had his best interests and would probably told Phend what he had to hear at times, and he absorbed a lot of things from you. And when you came on board as his mechanic over the last couple of years, his program, his racing improved, his results improved. And if nobody can see that,
but like I've said throughout this whole thing, am I done with Dakota? God, I hope not. I really don't, but it's not in my court.
I understand that. I understand that.
You know, and you asked if I would work for somebody else. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The only way I would consider working for somebody else or doing anything for anybody else is if Dakota literally told me, we're done.
Do you think Dakota will ever leave TLR?
Nah, he's too faithful. I mean, maybe I'm not going to say that he's going to, or he's not, you know. I think that he is, I mean, could he make more money? I mean, if this is a business, could he make more money elsewhere? Probably.
Do you feel he's going to eventually be pushed to run all their products, tires, everything?
He already has, but you know what he did? He stood up for himself and said, nope.
Okay. Good stuff.
You know,
good stuff.
He's, you know, that's just the way it is. Will they continue to push on him? I think if they do continue to push on him, Dakota's at a position where he wants to win.
I think where Dakota wants to go, he goes NNRC.
At this time, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's still
who's out there? But who's out there? I mean, like, there are certain people where I have never turned down trying to help or anything, you know, and hopefully, you know, I saw Mike Fuller on here earlier, but the Fullers, 1,000,000% I would help them.
I love the Fullers.
I'm all about Team Fuller. I walked over to Mason at the Nationals and tried to help him, you know, get his car a little bit better for the last qualifier. This is a competitor of Dakota. Okay. But I knew where we were at. Nobody was beating Dakota. That's how confident I was. I'm helping Mayfield get parts for his car. Okay. At the Nationals, you know, because he came up and he asked, hey, can we get some, you know, this, or can we get that, or, you know, whatever. I mean, he pieced together a couple things, and, you know, that's why I said, you know, everybody runs other people's stuff. I mean, you don't know how many spur gears I gave away in my life for JQ. I mean, not for JQ, for the Hot Bodies team.
Got you.
You know, they're like, hey, can I get, you know, can I get a spur gear? Sure. Here you go, bud. I've done it. You know, it's not a problem, but people need to understand that, you know, I'm out there and I'm going to help people. You know, Mayfield has a great thing going, him and Truey. Truey's a great guy. Truey understands. He's raced 8 scale. He knows
RaceCraft, extreme RaceCraft, that man has.
Right. I think I'm a pretty good race strategist myself. I think that I have helped in a position that has made Dakota feel comfortable with his car. When he feels comfortable with his car, I think that's when he is, he's deadly with the car. And I think we built a baseline setup that it's very little changes for him now. That's why I'm like, I have no worries.
Okay.
Like me not being there or anything, I will still root for him. 100%.
Got you.
I have no animosity towards him. I have no animosity towards anybody at TLR. I have no animosity towards Horizon. Zero.
Right.
It just was a point where it was time to just enjoy myself again and feel appreciated and want to be, I guess I'm going to sound like a chick right now, want to be wanted. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. I understand that. I understand that 100%. So we have a super chat question from Rick Hayes. This has been a big hot topic in my NNRC Discord. There was a hot topic on Monday on my Facebook. He goes, well, sorry if I missed this topic, Barry, but what is the driving factor for manufacturers not sending American drivers to Euro races? And he goes, what Euro and Asian races should Americans attend?
I think IBC would be good.
What do you like about IBC?
That it's at Figueiredo's track, and I think their track is absolutely beautiful.
Amazing.
And it's Portugal.
And it's cheap.
And if people have never been to Portugal, what a beautiful country.
Beautiful place. I fell in love with that place.
Yeah, beautiful country. I've been there. I went to Porto, Portugal. I've fallen down the hills from doing the wine tasting.
It's so old, right?
Craig
Drescher
and I, good times, bad times at the same time.
And there's people are really, y'all's father is really passionate about getting people there. He wants,
and I love Yao's a great guy.
Yeah, his
like
family
Yao
really
is awesome.
He is. His dad, everybody, very good people.
Yeah, everybody there. But I think IBC would be cool. I mean, if you say, Asian or European race, as far as Asian races go, maybe the Philippine Masters, only because I heard that is like getting very good. Mm-hmm. I think Dakota was asked to go to the Australia race last week.
They just had that this past weekend.
Him and Mayfield, I think, were going at one point. They were gonna to go, and then it all turned around, and yeah, that was another leading factor to.
But this is the big argument, right? Obviously, you saw the argument or the debate that Tiba and I got in on Facebook.
Actually, I didn't.
Okay, so
I did. The world doesn't revolve around you.
I know that there, but that was a pretty hot topic.
Okay.
I know the world does not revolve around. Now, I do these topics because I want to get discussion going, right? Because
how many people we still have? We're an hour and 45 in.
197 people.
Okay. I want to keep this at like 200. Everybody on there, that'd be cool. Okay.
So my thing is, we got the Europeans, they come over. Yes, I understand that maybe it's cheaper for the Europeans to come to America. I understand that we have the one-off tracks here, whatnot like that. But back in your day, I'm sure traveling was not as cheap as well on a scale as we look at it now. Budgets were bigger as well, I would say, back then.
So when touring car was the heyday, do you want me to tell you how many races I went to?
How many did you go to?
So I would go to at least a European Reedy race every year, which was either in England or Spain or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I did the LRP Masters, which was in Germany. I've been to the DHI Cup, which was up in Denmark.
Okay.
Which that was, yeah.
I remember that. I remember seeing that in the magazine.
Let's put it this way. I missed my main. Yeah. For reasons we've already talked about at the start, doing snow angels in the middle of the, yes. But yeah, Kim up there in Denmark, the DHI Cup, that was awesome. Then I would go to Japan when I ran for Yokomo like 5 times a year, do the Japanese nationals. I won, one of my greatest wins ever. I beat the inaugural 10 scale Pro 10 nationals, the Japanese nationals. And I literally smoked Masami Izabi.
Really?
Like it wasn't even close. Like I won, I got all the trophy and everything, and he finished second and got the Japanese national title for finishing second because I wasn't Japanese.
Right, but they do that a lot when you go.
Yeah, no, but they at least allow you to race.
Yes.
Right.
You can't win the championship.
I think that I would like to go to a Euros and just visually, because I know what worlds are like. And I think the Euros is something that is probably the closest to a world.
Okay. Because of the different countries.
It's just they do it right.
Right.
They have the opening ceremony. The European championships are amazing.
They have the opening ceremonies. Everybody comes up with their country.
Like it's just
flag,
I've been there for
stuff.
touring car. I've been there to support for Associated. Right. I've been there to support for Yokomo when I was there. And if I was in the RC industry, in the US, I would absolutely try to be there for whatever company I was working for. If I was still working in the industry, to be there to support. To me, that's a big deal. The Euros, the US Nationals, and the World Championships. Okay. And everybody says the US Nationals means nothing. It's your national championship.
I agree.
Okay. It means everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it means nothing because, you don't have Euro guys here like at Silver State or DNC. Novelty races. The US Nationals is
the most prestigious race.
Is your national championship. Be proud to win your national championship.
You know what someone says? I think Max or even somebody else said it. People always remember the national champions and European champions because if you won that 3 or 4 times, you'll always remember that, right? But we can't. It's very hard for us to remember how many times Mayfield's won DNC. I'm not taking away from DNC.
But here's what's funny, okay? The Euros means more than the national championship. Than like a Swedish national or a Norwegian championship or the British, the BRCA has a series to crown a champion. Okay.
Yes.
But still the European championship means more. Why?
Because it's prestigious.
But in the U they say, but I mean, if I was from Sweden, okay, I would hold my head high and I would be at every national race because that's the nationals. Well, that's my country.
Most people do that. Most of these Europeans, they do most of their, that's why they can't really come to America during the summer because they're doing their national series and of course the Euros. But the question is, why do you think we don't see this happening now? Why don't we see the American? So we have the Euros. They come over for every Silver State. They come over for every DNC, and they come over now for Silver State, right? They do. They come. It's almost every year. But we haven't seen the Americans go back over since Neo. And it was the last year at Neo. Then it was at Harper
Fair.
Adams.
Harper was that at some school or something? Harper
Adams? That's where they always had it. And then the last Neo they had was at Redovon. And no, I don't think I think maybe Cole went. That was about it.
I think the indoor thing that they had, a lot of people used to go.
That was packed with Americans.
And they used to have races in indoor races in Belgium. I remember Adam telling me stories that his engine was way too lean there, and somebody said your engine's way too lean, and he goes, lean it out another hour, and he'd only pull the trigger like a quarter throttle, and he went 12 minutes. And everybody was freaking out because that was at a time when people could only go 6 minutes on a fuel tank.
Right.
Like, people don't understand. Adam Drake gets fuel mileage because he just doesn't pull the throttle. And his engine is like as lean as lean gets.
I've heard it. But
yes.
How do we get, like, this is the big argument. So T-Bill's argument was our budgets don't count for it no more. I get that. I understand that you may not have a budgets or we don't have any value.
Something. The company he runs for now, his budgets don't account for it anymore.
But he can go to Europe if he wants. No, I would say. Yeah, he's talking about going to buggy.
Really?
Yeah.
Because he barely can go to races in the U.S. right now.
But Dakota Phend could go to Europe.
Could he?
If Horizon to give him the budget for it.
What about the whole Mugen thing? If Robert wants to come to the U.S., okay, the U.S. Mugen company Mugen Seiki USA has to pay for Robert to come to the U.S. If Adam wants to go to Europe, okay, European Mugen pays for it. If they go to Japan, Mugen Japan pays for it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that.
Unless it comes out of their pocket.
Right.
Okay. So would Horizon Europe pay for Dakota, or would it go from TLR, or would it go from Horizon USA?
They both should, in my opinion.
Well, no, I'm just saying this is where does that stand? I mean, who pays for what and everything else? In a corporate world, it's a different thing. Back in the day, Associated would say, Barry, get on a plane. And I would spend 3 weeks in Europe going from one race to the next to the next. I would go over to Hong Kong, from Hong Kong to Japan, from Japan to Thailand with Reedy. And we would go for 3 weeks and we would hit all of these races. That doesn't happen anymore.
No, it doesn't happen anymore.
You want to know why? Because back in the day, there were only 5 or 6 drivers on the team. Now there's 500 or 600 on each team. And they don't need to send somebody over there because they already have drivers there because they've already made a commitment.
But they had drivers there when you went as well. Like when you went to did they not have drivers as well when you went? Like Craig Dresser was a driver?
At the Euros, at the European Championships, I went there. Okay. I went to the European Championships to support the team.
Right, but you also went to the Reedy race.
Adam Drake went to the European Championships to support the team.
I remember that.
Ty Tessman went to the European Championships
to
support the team.
He went to support Bruno, but
more than anything. I'm trying to say is,
but they went to Neo. They went to Neo every year.
What happened to all of this?
Sponsorship.
Right.
Everybody's a sponsor, but it still counts. Neo was 5 years ago. The last Neo where
I just watched a sportsman driver announce an engine sponsorship the other day. A freaking sportsman. He races sportsmen, and the engine company is promoting this guy. You're racing fucking sportsmen, dude. How do you have a sponsorship?
This is the business model that the RC industry decided to partake in 10, 15 years ago.
1996.
That's the year you have it at?
1996. I'm working for Yokomo USA. We actually had a distributorship over here in Irvine, California. I told the owner of Yokomo USA, okay, I said, anybody who calls up, give them a 50% deal.
So you're to blame.
He says, why? I said, because we sell to distributors at 65%. We'll make 15% more off of everybody.
You're to blame. You started it.
True? True or not? True or not? Come to me right now. True or not? So
would you say that we have to wrangle that?
But now you have all these different levels. Like you go to some of these companies and you got, people are like excited because they got a 12% deal. Dude, I get 12% off. I'm a sponsored guy. Yes. Or I get 35% off, or I get 50% off, or I get 75% off. Well, at 75% off, guess what? You're still making money.
Really?
Some of these companies are still making money at 75% off.
I think it has to be brought under control. Somehow, some way.
So Chris Van Air, highlight that one when he says, why would AE send Spencer? Okay.
Why would AE send Spencer to Europe when Ongaro is already there? This is the other thing that I keep hearing.
Why not?
Thank you.
Why not have two guys? Okay.
So let me ask you something.
Why
Hold
not?
on.
Wait. Why not have Spencer learn? Spencer's a sponge too. I don't know if you've ever spent time with Spencer, but that kid wants to learn. He takes things in. Sure, he's got this mantra around him that, sometimes he's a little, this or a little bit that or whatever, but to tell you the truth, these guys are killing me.
Hold on. Axel and Barry Barry started price allotments. He said you started the whole sponsorship thing. Listen, he is a sponge, but what? But
you said, but Chris Van Air said, why would they send him over there?
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? He would get better. It would be good for the brand. The Europeans also know who Spencer Rivkin is. The influence of a racer does not stop at the border.
So I used to go to Japan, right? And there's a city called Akihabara, which is the electronic city. So in Japan, there's all different cities, right? And these cities are known for certain things. There's like the watch city, there's the electronic city, there's, the furniture city, things like that. So Akihabara was the electronic city. All the hobby shops are there. All of them in downtown, Tokyo, near Tokyo, right? I'd go to Japan and Masami's all, we're going to Akihabara. Well, first off, he knew my favorite curry house was down there because I love Japanese curry. That's like one of my favorite dishes ever. Okay. I love Japanese curry. But he knew my favorite one was there, but he could go to the hobby shops and go shopping because I would get bombarded and he could actually go shopping. The most famous RC racer in the world got looked over when I walked into the hobby shop in Japan with him.
That's what I'm trying to tell guys. I was like, don't you think that the Europeans want to see a Mayfield? They want to see a Spencer Rivkin, a Dakota Phend. And those guys
and
are
these
still
companies,
running.
I don't understand why these companies don't do that.
You know why? You know why, Barry? You're going
to get more promotion from Spencer going and racing than Ongaro winning another race.
Exactly. And that value would cross over from not only from Europe, but also to America, because everybody will be watching it. I'm not saying you have to go to 5 different races in Europe, but let's pick 1 or 2 and let's go. And all I keep hearing is we can't. Our budgets are small. We can't do this. Companies don't want to send us. And you know what? You know what it all comes down to? What it comes down to? They are, look, I'm going to say the cold hard truth. They are afraid to lose. They are afraid to go over there. They are afraid not to look. They are afraid to get exactly what Kevin Thomas has. They are afraid to go over there and not do well on the permanent tracks.
You're not losing, though.
They're not losing. They're going over there and making more customers.
Knowledge.
Exactly. That is, let me tell you something. And that is why, in my opinion, we haven't seen an American World Champion since 2010 in H-scale.
But people say, oh, if Mayfield went over there, if Dakota went over there, they'd get their ass handed to them. I disagree.
You would never know because they go over there.
I disagree. If you go over there and you say you have one run to run on a track that these people have 7 years on, okay, it's a different story. But if you give these guys a day, even a day, 2 days, they're good enough that in 2 days or a day of practice on the track that they're going to be up to speed.
And you know what? I would say that
the people who say that it's not true, or the pro racers, because there are a lot of pro racers out there that are not pro. Mm-hmm. Okay. I only consider a few people pro these days. Okay. Just because you get a paycheck, you're not a professional.
You know what? I saw at the Worlds when I went. This was my first World Championships I went to. But I saw the level of everybody go up. So the guys who are fast in America, like the Mayfields and all those guys that were fast there, their level had to go up because the European fast guys are there. Nothing wrong could come out of the best of the best.
Everybody's level is going to go up.
Exactly.
Everybody.
But you know
it's
what?
Only going to make it better for everybody.
The attitude is it's just another race. It is just another race.
Well, it is now.
But you know what?
Do you want to know why? Because there's 8,000 races every weekend.
That's unfortunate too. And I get that too. I understand that too.
Okay.
It was, but my point was, I was guys are like, oh, there's no value in Mayfield going over there. Of course there is. He's a representative of his companies. There are fans of Mayfield over there in Europe that want to see him race. He will go over there. He will build a relationship with those people. Those people will appreciate. And you know that would be better for the brand overall than him winning another race that he wins all the time. In my honest opinion, I'm using Mayfield as an example.
You can use Mayfield for an example. You know how many times Mayfield has been, people have like literally shit on Mayfield because, oh my God, he broke a radio, or oh my God, he did this, or oh my God, he did that. You know why? Because he's passionate.
Of course he's passionate.
Okay. He wants to win. Of
course he does. That's why he is. And it's like I heard somebody the other day said this was one of the, if I had the money to travel and go race against these guys, I would beat them. And I said, no, you won't, because it's not just about having the money to go race these guys. These guys have talent and they work hard and they're passionate. It's no different from anywhere else.
How many times have you heard at a club race, if I had his product or if I had his sponsorship, I would be just as fast as him?
It's the excuse. It's almost as bad as
It's hilarious.
It's delusional.
If I had Horace stuff back in the day, you know what? I don't want Horace stuff. I'm going to beat him with my own stuff. Did I beat him? Not very often, but
Well, these guys who are at the top echelons, it's because they're talented, because they work hard, and they're just talented. It's no different from any other sport in the world.
100%. 100%. In order to be a professional, you need to put in the time and the effort.
Yes.
Okay. You don't see, these guys that there's an off season. Okay. But they still work out. They still do their thing. Okay. And in this day and age, you have people that don't do it. Okay. That everybody says, well, why doesn't Dakota go practice? Because he's racing a different discipline every other weekend.
And the man needs to have a weekend off to enjoy himself.
Give the guy a couple weeks to go spend it with his family and stuff. Do I get all pissy and moany that he's not out racing and getting ready? Absolutely. But you know what? He proves me wrong at every freaking race. He really doesn't need to go do that.
I broke this down for some guys the other day. I said, the Dakota Phends, the Ronald the Mayfields, these guys, they are no different. I use soccer. They are no different than Messi, no different than Ronaldo, and these guys that are. It's just that's a different sport on a bigger stage, but the passion and the hard work that they put in is the exact same reason why Messi, Ronaldo, LeBron James, whatever these top baseball sports players are, those guys that are at the top of the echelon in RC have that same thing that those guys have, just in a different sport. All right, let's take a few questions here, Barry. Chase Lyman, he goes, most of us in the intermediate level and mid-upper sportsman level have exactly what the pros have, down to fancy paint jobs and stickers, custom shirts, fancy hardware. I don't see us putting on their lap times. Exactly. It's not, you can pretty much have the same thing that these guys have. It comes down to having talent and being able to do it.
Lefty. I have 15 national championships. Okay. 15.
Mm-hmm.
I've won 8 Reedy races worldwide. I think I know how to drive an RC car. Okay.
A little bit.
I have the exact same equipment, probably built better than how I build Dakota's cars. Okay.
Right.
He's 3 seconds a lap faster than me at most races.
Yeah. Well, there we
It's
go.
called, if I had at my heyday the amount of talent that he has in his little finger, I would be excited.
I agree with you, man.
So, I mean, there's the same thing, Gnarly RC. Barufalo beat everybody a couple months ago. That was Barufalo's best drive I've ever seen him give.
It was
in a lifetime. Lifetime.
But that you know guy, what?
But he's fast and he can do it.
He's
okay.
Just,
Marco is fast. Okay. And everything, the stars aligned for him. Okay. Fee, the stars aligned for Fee at that race. He was fast as hell. He was given, Marco a run for his money, and everything. But at the next race, where was Marco back in Europe? Where was Fee at the Nationals? Do you understand what I'm saying?
It's more than one race, right? It's more than one race.
Show me, like literally show me, they have the top 25 for a reason. That is, so on. Do I think it's fair? Absolutely not. The number one driver, Dakota is number one right now in points. The world champion's Davide.
I think people don't understand.
But you know what? It was one race.
It was
one race.
But it was the race.
How about it was the race that weekend, everything about it, okay? How about we have a world's final series?
I would love to, but we can't even get these guys to commit to going to one race in Europe. Every time I mention it, it's a different, I'm not going to say excuse because I offended people when I said excuse. It's a different reason. We can't even get these guys, these manufacturers, to commit to one race in Europe right now. The driver's influence does not
Axel have a lot of money?
No, Axel's my boy, and he just
because he's wasting a lot of money here.
That's my boy. I don't know. He might be drinking tequila and listening to this. But I would love to see a World Series. I would love to. It is my dream. I hope to see this before I leave this earth. I hope to see a World Series.
Not going to happen. The companies won't commit to it.
It won't happen. It will happen 30 years from now.
No.
Really? I think it will.
No.
I think these young kids will make it happen.
No. 30 years from now, we ain't even going to be driving RC cars. You're going to be sitting in your house with a VR camera, and you're going to be like, just thinking turn left, turn right, level out, and it's going to be like that.
See, I love Mike Fuller's my boy. I love him. But this is we pay you pay and we racing. Exactly. So we need to figure out, we need to stop saying can't about this and figure out how to get you guys over there. That's it. HB is a European company. You guys are the number one HB drivers right now in HB. You should be going over to Europe to race. Mason is the number one HB driver. He should be going over to Europe to race.
They have Jessica Paulson.
Jessica Paulson is not a Mason Fuller.
Well, I hope
she is a very good driver. She is a very good driver. She is not a Mason Fuller.
Yeah. So
I agree with you, and it will make everybody better. It will make RC better.
Did you see Junior's comment?
Who? Where is
Frankie
it?
Junior's?
I saw it. Where was it? There it is. Frankie Junior says, "Cause who wants to race on flat tracks? That doesn't look like fun." Well, the European tracks aren't flat.
No. It's a different kind of racing. It's a different kind of racing over there, especially with different surfaces. But I dislike the oiled tracks, in my opinion.
Okay, but there's not many oil tracks. I watch the Spanish Nationals.
They're all over Asia now. They're all over Europe. Everything is,
mostly England. Mostly England.
But I'm just saying that this is the thing. Now, I'm old school. I can't stand, like, they're having a Euros right now on whatever AstroTurf. Like, come on. Like,
but that's
AstroTurf.
That is the most popular form of racing in Europe.
Whatever. Put a hole in the ground and call it a putting green.
But that is what's popular. That's what they have to do. Speaking of worlds, let's touch on that real quick. We have it comes back to our European USA attitude, right? So the worlds are coming up at Hobby Action.
21 minutes. That's what you got.
Huh?
You got 21 minutes left.
Okay. So anyway, we're going to the worlds on a surface that these Europeans have nothing like this over in Europe.
Stupid.
But guess what?
Stupid. Stupid. Slicks are stupid.
I'm not disagreeing.
I'm an on-road guy. Slicks are stupid. Okay. When they started running slicks at OCRC, didn't like it. Is it cool? Yeah. Do you have tons of grip? Cool. Whatever. Off-road racing.
I'm
Okay?
not disagreeing with you, Barry.
Like, let's till the track. Like, seriously.
I'm not
Let's
disagreeing
run
with you.
plus pins or whatever, crime fighters, whatever it is, till the track. Don't groom it. It's off-road. Would I suck at it? Absolutely.
Well, I don't think we're ever going to see that
100%.
in off-road again. I mean, in 10 scale. But listen to me. This is my point. They've never been on the surface. They don't race on slicks over in Europe. I'm not hearing, oh, we're not going because we can't. It's not an unfair advantage. It's this, it's that. You know what they're doing? They came to the warm-ups. They stayed for extra days. They're practicing. They came back over for another race. They did all of that. That all costs money, right? That all costs money.
Are you ready for this?
What up?
And they're all going to get smoked.
I believe so too. I think they're all going to get beat too. But
I'm just telling you that right now.
But they're not making excuses. They're coming over and doing everything possible to try and get the best hand to win.
Okay.
And that's what it takes, right?
Okay. Does it take that? Does it take that? Let's get this. Okay. Let's talk about this. Who was the best North American at the A scale off-road worlds? You already said it.
Phend.
Who went to the warm-up race?
Rivkin.
Not Phend. He
Special.
had 4 runs on the track in practice before seeding started.
He's special, though.
I'm just saying the fast guys will
always be
the
fast.
Fast guys, no matter where you race at.
But I'm just saying, it's no excuses about unfair advantage. It's coming over, getting the information that they need, giving themselves what they need to do what they think they need to win. That's all I'm saying. You know what? The worlds are probably going to be in Brazil next year, right? For the 8 scale worlds. I am waiting for all the excuses about that. They have to have the worlds too.
I will not go.
You should, because Brazil's awesome.
No, I've been there.
I was just there. I
Okay.
loved it.
Okay. And I'm not going to bring up excuses. I will not go no matter what.
Okay.
And there's just, I value longer life with my family.
It's not that bad. Dude, I went there. It's not.
It's
Look,
not that bad.
Dude, I was there in Sao Paulo. I was actually
not that bad.
It's like anywhere else. You go anywhere. I also live in a country that's
Third
most
world,
people
Bob.
would.
Third world.
Look, the average person, if they came to visit me in the first 5 minutes, I would guarantee that you would poop your pants, right?
No,
But to
it's
me,
probably
normal.
beautiful as hell, right? But like in any country or any world, okay, in any country or any world, or any city, there's bad parts and there's good parts.
Exactly. And you will
as
not be
long
in the
as you
bad
stay
part.
in the good parts. But if you go exactly what Nancy just said.
I heard that about Argentina too. I heard that it was scary. People were
They
nervous.
had to walking across the bridge. It's like you could get mugged.
I heard that. It was like us. Like one guy would be at the other end. Mick Craddock was telling me. I heard that. But I am telling you personally, I just came from where they're gonna have the race, if they have it. The hotels were not far away.
Nobody's gonna call me racist right now. Nobody. Do not do it.
No, it's not. I get what you're saying.
Listen.
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
I get it. I'm not saying that you don't have valid fears. I'm not saying that you don't have. No, there's absolutely validity in what you're saying. But I am telling you,
I grew up in San Diego. Okay, I was going to Tijuana when I was 16 years old, going down to Revolucion and partying all the time. There is no way in hell I would even step foot there anymore.
different times.
Right.
I am telling you.
I went to Brazil when it was different times too, and we were scared to death at that time, and it only got worse.
Can I finish? I went there. I did not feel. Look, if I tell this story, JQ went out to 5 o'clock in the morning, got pissed drunk, went out to 5 o'clock in the morning. He came back alive.
That's because they all say, "Look at the village idiot."
No, he didn't have no money. They weren't going to rob him. And if anybody would have kidnapped him, they probably would have sent him back anyway. I understand.
I was in South Africa in 2002. Okay, where God rest his soul, Dallas Matheson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, big guy. You know him, right?
Yes.
He got the shit beat out of him there at a club. Okay.
Don't be out in clubs, man.
But I'm just saying, I'm just saying that, you know, it's like you don't know when it's going to happen. I mean, it's I don't know. I just
But that
think
can happen anywhere, Barry. That can happen anywhere. You can be out in the club.
It could happen in Costa Rica.
It can happen in America.
You're right. You're right. I mean,
so
quite honestly, the World's in 2016 in Las Vegas. Las Vegas, sorry, Mike Kaz, is a little shady sometimes. Okay. If you're in the wrong place in Vegas, but it's the same thing anywhere. I live in a city called Azusa, okay, California. You know, I live in the Rosedale community, which is, you know, if it's got a name and it's a community, it's probably a pretty nice place. You know, it's our place. Our house is beautiful. You know, my house is nice. You know, it's a beautiful area. But if you go 3 blocks to the south, there's gang members all over the place.
So I agree with you. So I know there's a lot of fear about Brazil and there's a lot of media. And look, it's warranted. The place can be dangerous like any other place. It's probably abnormally dangerous than any other country. But I will tell you this. The people that race RC there are just like you and me. They're normal people. They don't want to be in dangerous places. So they're not going to allow you guys to be in dangerous places as well. So like anything else in the world, if you go looking for trouble, it's usually going to find you at some point, right? So my thing is, if guys go to the worlds, don't go get drunk and go all over and party. And like Brazil's probably not the place you want to do that. Even though JQ did it and he came back alive, I'm not saying, yeah, you just got to have common sense and don't be stupid.
Common sense does not go with RC racers.
It does not. RC nerds going wild. RC world's going nuts.
It is horrible.
Now
okay?
the other.
Now, this is another thing. Everybody goes out and they all party and they all have a good time. I come from the old school days. If you ran for Associated, you hated everybody that ran for Losi. If you ran for Losi, you didn't talk to the Associated guys. Now these guys are sharing hotel rooms. They're sharing, they're sharing beers. They're going out to the pool. They're inside, race trailers together. Rebuilding each other's cars, driving each other's cars at the track. That never happened back in the day.
It's different. It's so different. It's so different.
The RC world is totally different now.
It is. There's no rivalries. Everybody's friends.
I think the safest place to go race is probably Japan.
And expensive.
Everything's expensive these days, except in Portugal.
Portugal is very cheap. Very cheap.
But I mean, like I said, I just, I look forward to, hopefully one day being able to go over to the IBC or going over there and, I might do it. I might do it on my own dime. Would I like to go? Would I love to be fortunate enough to have enough money and say, hey, if Horizon doesn't send you Dakota, let's go race over at the IBC. But I don't have that. Because if I did, I would start my own company and I would hire Dakota and I would pay him what he's worth.
I agree with you. And also, I just think that going back to the worlds, you have valid fears, and people have valid fears about the customs as well. This is exactly what, when I was down there and I talked to those guys, myself, Robert, and JQ was down there. We said, hey, look, the first thing people are going to do, they want to feel safe. The second thing people want to say is going to be the customs coming through that and getting, the same issues that they had going into Argentina. And
I don't know. I watched this To Catch a Smuggler stuff. And I mean, people are like, oh, I stopped at a store and, and my luggage looks different now. It's like, you never know what people throw in your luggage, down there. And it's like, you come across the States, it's like.
I just flew all around South America. I just flew around all South America for 3 weeks. No problems. No problems, man. Don't believe everything you see on the news and don't believe everything you see on TV. Those people deserve to have those worlds. And I guarantee, know what? Those Brazilian guys,
but are you ready?
Guys will love to have you guys down there.
Yeah. But are you ready?
Owen is a 6'11" white dude.
But are you ready?
Ready for what?
I'm not going. I love everybody. I loved being down there in Brazil to run the touring car race. You know, Adrian won that race down there.
He was at that track. He was
because
at
he
that track.
cheated with Serio engines. But you know,
That's a 3-level track in Jundiaí, right?
oh my God, it was so awesome.
I went to that track. That's where we raced at.
Oh my God, it was so much fun.
Hey, so Axel
my
Owen says
No
I
more
spent
bounce machine, brah. No more bounce machine there.
Axel Owen,
John.
who says, I spent a month in Brazil on a motorcycle in every major city, had zero problems. Then again, I'm almost 7 foot tall, tattooed, and look like Rob Zombie in House of a Thousand Corpse at the time.
Okay. By the way, that's another $12 from Axel. Jesus criminy.
Axel, thank you.
Hey, my court fee or my legal fees are getting up there. I can afford this cease and desist now.
All right. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes. We're going to take about 10 minutes of some Q&A. So if you guys have got any Q&A, now's the time to ask the fabulous
once again, how many people we have? How much has it dropped?
178 people.
We only dropped. Wow, I've only bored like 20 something people.
Dude,
so
people
far.
want to hear from the fabulous
Once again, we never really got to the end of this whole TLR split thing. You know that.
Well, let's finish it.
You know, so just to let everybody know, like I said, I talked to Dakota after the Nats. And I said, hey, I'm going to send this email. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's nothing against you. He says, send the email. Let's see what kind, what kind of, response you get back. So the response was, thanks for your time. We appreciate you, have a good time away, all this other stuff. And and then Dakota said, well, if nothing gets worked out, him and I hopefully will be able to put something on paper and move forward. So I've had multiple people approach me on the first day and say, hey, will you come do this? Will you come do that? Like I said, until Dakota tells me that there's no way that we're working together anymore, I will do nothing else. Will I run a TLR car? No, I'll run whatever I want.
Okay.
But will I help Dakota win races? Absolutely. Because I believe in the kid and the kid's believed in me for that long. Now, will we work something out? I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, Horizon realizes that, that was important. To work as a team together, and get this stuff done. But in the long run, it all comes down to Dakota, no matter what happens. So it's in their court, it's actually in his court to work something out. I know he's busy, he's got the ENATs and he's got Wicked Weekend, and I'm in no rush. Like I said, I've ordered a couple cars and I'm going to tinker with them and I'm going to play and be on the lookout for some cars that might come on, eBay or something like that, or, of stuff that I've run, a couple days afterwards. But I mean, when it comes down to it, I'm still going to support Dakota 100% until he tells me he doesn't want me around.
That's awesome. I can hear the passion that you have for him in your voice. I think everybody can hear that as well. And I think he recognizes that. The only thing I can see stopping it is Horizon, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is, and I mean, it was like I said in my post on Facebook. I said I have no animosity towards anybody. I don't. I just think that some of the decisions that they've made, some of the everybody thinks that I got fired. Well, I've never made. Fucking bitter.
Bitters is in. Bitters, dude. Bitters was in my NNRC Discord.
Do you know how long I've known Bitter?
Dude, I had to boot him out of my Discord.
That guy, Bitter and I will go back and forth, but deep down inside, we have gone through some shit together.
I think he's a good guy.
And my old roommate Derek, I love Bitter. He may think, that I hate him at points. I think he hates me at points. We've argued and stuff like that, but you know what? One guy who just doesn't hold back is Bitter. That's it.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, I know. So. He was in my Discord and he He's burning bridges, national champ.
See?
Dude, that's how he was in the Discord. People's like, "Hey, Lefty, this guy's gotta go." He was just too hostile.
Yeah. I'm not burning any bridge. I didn't burn any bridges. You got to have a bridge up to be able to burn it. I'll tell you that much.
I would say Landry Lockton says Britters keeps it real. He definitely kept it real. So I wish you all the best with that, Barry. Honestly, because I know how much you like Dakota and you look up to him, and you just appreciate his skill and his talent and how highly you think of him. And I'm sure he feels the same way. And I just think that you guys made an excellent team together, right? And I hope there's some way that you can figure it out and work with it. I don't know. I'm going to offer you, I think we should get you on here at least once a month as a co-host, and so we can have a chat. We're going to have to step up your podcast program, though. Get you a microphone and a headset and some lights. Huh?
Why?
I don't know, because
you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah, everybody can hear you, dude. I think
I don't need any special stuff. I have this nice, awesome computer that has a nice camera and a microphone on it, and it gets work done.
It's actually very good to be done. It's coming off better. I got all this equipment, but I do this for a living. But man, I will tell you this, Barry. I think one of the greatest joys of me doing this is when you be listening to one of my podcasts, which blows my mind that you listen to it, number one.
I'm bored.
Okay, so there we go. So you're bored. That's good enough reason for me. And then you start messaging me, and I know you're listening to it because you're egging me on and you're doing this, and then you get me all right up, and then you'll be like, I'm only playing if you see later. I'm like, this. But I mean, to have somebody of your I read about you in magazines, right? And always all this type of stuff. So for me, it's an honor to have you message me and be like, hey, I'm listening to you. I know you're listening to it and talking shit to me. So, and to be able to have you to come on here and just talk, it's super, super awesome. I appreciate it, man. Trust me. All right, guys, we are going to take a couple questions and then we're going to call it a night. We've been doing this for 2.5 hours. So if you have any questions for the fabulous one, get them in now. I think we're going to have him come in some more as well when he goes. Josh Sherrill says Barry's on. He's big into.
If I get compensated, maybe.
Well, you can get once YouTube takes their money, I'll send you a whole $25 check. There we go. Let's see. John Philpott, I believe he's from Australia. If you missed it from before, if the Worlds for 1/10 are in Australia, will you both attend? I would love to go to Australia at some point. I've been talking to Zach and those guys about maybe getting on for the ABC next year to do some commentating myself personally. So I don't know if Barry's got any interest in going to Australia. Have you been to Australia before, Barry?
Never.
Okay.
I was supposed to go for some nitro touring car race that Josh Cyril blew out on, but yeah,
he's in her. Mike Cass says
Mussolini that blew out. I don't know. Somebody blew out.
Mike Cass says, I can see Barry putting on car clinics to help others make cars better.
I've been told that a couple times. I mean, do I really know? This is funny. This comment right here. Okay.
Josh Sherrill, how many laps am I going to put on you at the Legends race? Where's this race to?
So, Josh, I'm supposed to talk to Dieter tomorrow. So we'll see about that. But this is a comment I made, and this is what's hilarious about this, okay? This is one of the most competitive motherfuckers you will ever meet in your life. Okay, Josh Cyril. Okay? We're talking competitive. I still think, it's just crazy. But when they said they're going to have this Legends race, so there's a bunch of Legends 12 scale. It's happening at Thunderdome, which
that's
is
Dieter's track,
right? And it's the Trinity Shootout is what they're calling it, but a Legends Classic or something like that. And they're getting all the old school guys together to have a Legends 12 scale race, right? And I literally said when I was invited to Dieter, I said, this will be awesome. I said, it'll be cool, but there'll be only 2 guys that give a crap about the race, and everybody else will just have a good time. I said, Cyril and Ralph Birch will be there for a week practicing, trying to beat everybody else. I said, those two will be there, and everybody else will just care and wheel the hell out of everybody. And I said, if I go there, I said, I am breaking cars. That's what I told Dieter. I said, I will line people up at the end of the straightaway and just send them and not care. Because that's, and do you see that comment? That's the first excuse right there. I haven't raced in 6 years, right? That's why he needs a week's worth of practice, he'll tell you.
He's big into drag racing right now. No prep drag racing.
No, but I said that. I said Cyril and Ralph will be the two that will be there, like literally practicing, going to do
I need to get Josh on this podcast. That's what I need to do.
He's got a lot of stories, a lot of good designs. I mean, he developed a lot of stuff. I mean, the serial killer touring car was, with Trinity was, something.
Okay.
So.
Here we go. Jason Sizzily. Sorry, Jason, if I mispronounce your name. Barry, if you were starting the RC racing hobby in your later life, 40 plus maybe, what would be your advice on trying to improve driving skills?
Practice. I mean, you have to, what I tell people, you can't just go and drive your car around on the track and think you're going to learn anything. You have to practice with a purpose. You have to set forth what you're trying to do. And, whether it be, okay, I'm going to learn something from the shocks. I'm going to learn something from this. I'm going to learn something from that. You have to practice with a purpose, because if you just go out and you turn laps, that's what you're going to do during a race. You're just going to turn laps, and you're not going to learn how to tune your car and make it better. So if you can take anything from that, it's just practice, and like practice with a purpose, of learning and getting better.
Okay. John Philpott wants to know, how was your experience working with Yokomo?
There were ups and downs, just like any working environment. I mean, there was a time where, I think they were jealous of the U.S. drivers, or even the U.S. and European drivers. I mean, God, we went over in 2000 to the Worlds, and I mean, we had the team. I mean, it was ridiculous. Spachette, myself, Cyril, I mean, everybody. This is when the TC3 first came out, but we were all running Yokomo Trinity. The Trinity worked out a deal with Yokomo. And I mean, the best drivers in the world, were running, Yokomo cars. And we get over there, and the whole Japanese team has cars outfitted with magnesium parts and everything. And, Spachette goes down the straightaway after Masami glues his tire, and his tire blows by him on the straightaway. It was just like we were at a major disadvantage after I was there. We were there a month before, and I pretty much, laid the hammer down on him at the warm-up race.
Okay.
We were screwed. Exactly. Everybody there. It was, yeah. So.
Gotta get Josh on this podcast. I'm going to get him on her. What non-techno parts is Mayfield running?
That I don't know. They were playing with some ring and pinion gears to get more efficiency, I know. But other than that, I mean, Mayfield's the kind of guy that's going to take whatever he has and he's going to make it better. And he's going to work on it. I mean, I remember him calling me or asking me, hey, what does Dakota's car weigh? And when I told him, he almost gasped. And then, because it was like 400 grams lighter than his. So
really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Andrew Reyes, I believe he's over in the Philippines, maybe. He wants to know, you mentioned the 8X 2.0 could use 2 changes. Is the rear hub position and having more negative offset one of those changes?
Sure.
Or just, you just.
Yeah. Sorry, Andrew. I've given my opinion too many times.
All right, Martin Pillmeyer.
And been told it can't be done. Why should I say it again?
Martin Pillmeyer, he says, if you could go back and re-race any race, which one? What was your greatest victory and most bitter loss? So that's 3 questions right there, I think.
Everybody knows what my most bitter loss is. 2002, I had the world's one with 42 seconds to go and clipped a corner and my spur gears stripped. All I had to do was finish second in South Africa. That's my bitter. That's the most bitter loss. And it still, I mean, it's 1 years ago, and I still feel it. You know what I mean? It's still there.
Right.
It's there. Because not many people can say they're world champion. And I mean, I literally had it in my hand after the second main. Like Matt Francis came up to me and goes, "You're still one behind me." Yet I hadn't won the worlds. You know,
Right.
like he said, "You're still one behind me." I mean, I mean, anybody who was there, I had the most dominant car there was, and I stepped on my pee-pee.
Hey,
I did it to myself. My greatest victory had to be there were 2 that I look back on that I really, really enjoyed. The one I talked about, the Japanese national in 10 scale, because I showed up there and I was fast in practice right away. And I set TQ the first round, reset TQ the second round, reset TQ the third round, reset TQ the next morning, and then won all 3A mains because you still race the third main. I just absolutely dominated Masami at his home track at the very first Japanese nationals for Pro 10. So that was I did have an advantage there a little bit because Andy's just came out with a Mercedes body that, you know, a lot of people didn't have. And then Jayco had this aqua tire, which was like a different form of a green, and they all ran green there. So yeah.
Sorry.
But I would say, and then the other one was, I said there were 2, remember? The other one was a Reedy race where I had the whole Losi team was ganging up to make sure that Spachette won the Reedy race. And I had to win the last race, do the fastest time, do all this for tiebreakers and stuff like that. And the horn went off and a car literally goes flying by me like they're going to take me out. You heard the ticking of the Lexan, and it was another one of their car. They just ganged up. They tried to gang up on me. I mean, Spachette would be in 5th place in a race, and these guys would mysteriously fly off the track or whatever, and, you know, he'd win the heat. And, you know, they wanted to beat the Associated team so badly. Maybe it was Associated, maybe it was me. I don't know. But I know that at that time, I remember I won and I just screamed that, you know, vengeance is served. You know, I was like, you know, I was just, yeah, that was a really good win that time.
Vengeance is served. Yeah. James Livani, he wants to know, Barry, what would you recommend for beginners in e-buggy?
Get a nitro car. Let's see. I mean, e-buggy, I mean, you can't go wrong with, you know, pretty much, you know, all the cars. It's just how much do you want to put into it? I mean, there's not many cars that come out of the box that you just go, oh my God, this thing's, you know, this great right out of the box right now. I mean, it was like, you know, I would say maybe you can't go wrong with an Associated or a Mugen car because, you know, for beginners, the parts are availability in case you break anything. You know, I think those are probably one of the easiest. I mean, hot bodies, the old hot bodies car, anybody who picks it up goes around the track with it. It may not be the it may not be the fastest.
That's a great car.
But it's what you want. You want to be able to pull the trigger. You want to be able to come out of pit lane and not spin out.
There you go.
So, I mean, something like that. But I would say, you know, a pillow ball car is probably you're going to be your best to start with as a beginner, just to get around the track and have a good time. So,
okay. Good stuff. And graduate to Nitro, James. Case Andrews wants to know, what is your favorite track in SoCal?
Old school or currently? Those two guys that you just went by, probably the most awesome father-son people in the world.
Toddy Anderson.
Oh God,
I met Toddy at Masters.
Like it should be say hi from Todd, Toddy, and Flat Toddy. You know,
that's up. RC excitement.
Yeah, RC excitement. I've been there one time, and it's a bucket list to go back again.
Really? Gotta get up there myself, up in Massachusetts there.
Yeah, but great people, and they are in it for the hobby and for the people, and that's why they're successful. Okay. It's not to make a dollar, even though that's what you have businesses for. For them, it's about the people around them.
Toddy, are you coming to Wicked Weekend, by the way? So
let's see. My favorite track in SoCal. Growing up in San Diego, there was a place called the Naval Training Center, and that would be probably my most favorite track. It was red clay, but at a Naval Training Center down in San Diego, and I would say that was my most fun and actual off-road track. Everybody thinks I would say on-road, but yeah, don't get me started, Mike. There's too many.
So what was your best
I could do a 10-hour podcast about Kinwald.
We're gonna have you back on. We're gonna do some more old school stories. I think
that guy right there is the reason why. A lot of the reason why RC is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I don't know much about his history and stuff like that. I need to have a discussion with you and probably some other guys about that. Frank Contreras, what's your greatest win as a mechanic?
Oh, 100%. We won the 4-hour race. The endurance, the Reese 240.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Axel with another super chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, dude.
No, I mean, we just built that car. We broke it in the morning. It was hilarious. Had a brand new engine, and we started the car up at the to start the race, and the thing came in and idled for 10 minutes at the end of 4 hours. When we changed the receiver pack, we left it running. When we never changed the air filter, we never did it. It was perfect for 4 hours. It was awesome. We had a fun team. That was pretty awesome.
Okay. Axel Owen gives us another super chat. Thank you, Axel. Don Carleone Barry, you shouldn't be so obvious that you're joining Invisible Speed.
Yeah, I would be very invisible. Trust me.
Greg Tennies, give us your best Paul Lemieux story. His son's fast.
Chase?
Yeah.
I've known Chase since he's been in the sack of Paul. Let's see. I made him cry. He was racing for Schumacher, and I made him cry at Ripon on the driver's stand. That would be my best story of Paul Lemieux. Is he even says he's all, you made me cry. So
he was an on-road racer, right?
He was one of the most dominant on-road racers.
Yeah, we need to get him on the podcast
at one time, you were trying to beat Paulie in touring car and Cyril in 12 scale.
Really?
And then you had Blackstock, and I mean, I would throw a win here or there in there, but I mean, it was there was a time where, I mean, watch the Carpet Racers movie. I mean, it's like, they all gagged on Paul Lemieux during that, movie. And they were all, sucking hind tit on that one. So
Jay Smoker, what's your best Greg Degani story?
There isn't one.
You guys have ultimate. You guys and your smack talk, though, I love it.
It's Degani. I don't, it's like you just take him with a grain of salt and move on.
All right, Toddy, I should be at Masters too, man. I look forward to seeing you there. Toddy says, thanks, Barry. I'll be at Masters there. Busy working with Dad on the business. Someone's got to run it. With Dad taking 100 plus days off a year.
Your dad deserves it.
Okay. Jonathan Kurz, actually, we have links for the NNRC Discord in the written description of this podcast. And we're going to take, what's up, Anthony? How you doing? We're going to take One last question here is from my boy Riley Filbert. What are you laughing at, Barry?
I'm like, how did we do 3 hours? It felt like 10 minutes.
Welcome to my world. I recorded 3.5 hours of JQ this morning. So,
how do you do 3 minutes of JQ?
Yeah, I've learned it. I've learned how to deal with him. I got to get a lot of stuff
JQ doesn't
off my
like
chest.
me, does he?
No, he likes you.
What did he say about the whole? Did
What?
he even bring up the whole me leaving kind of situation?
No,
was
this
that even discussed?
So no, we recorded my podcast today, like my interview. So he interviewed me.
Oh, he interviewed you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I wanted to tell my story, you know. And
you have a story?
I do. I've lived a very.
I was just this chubby kid that came out of a third world country.
I'm not from a third world country though. I'm from Bermuda.
Had like this life that I wanted to be, you know, this professional podcaster, and I was thinking
You'd be surprised.
Thinking of this name for my podcast, and I couldn't think of one. So now I just said it's the No Name. We'll just come out with No Name Podcast.
I'm actually not from a third world country. I'm from Bermuda. It's the most expensive country in the world.
Oh,
literally.
Okay. Hey, so you know how you have the No Name Podcast,
right?
Do you know that? Remember the company OFNA?
Yes.
Do you know
what was that? I
do you
forget
know what that stands for.
Another effing
only
something.
Fucking name available.
That's what it was. I was trying to remember that the other day. I was trying.
No, and it's the truth. If you ask the owner, he literally said that when we were thinking of it, he goes, well, it's the only fucking name available, OFNA.
No shit.
So, yeah.
No shit. All right. Riley wants to know best Nat story. Which Nats we talking about, Riley? Just any Nat story? Or Barry's Nat story? I'm not sure.
I mean, probably the best national story I ever have is one where I completely flew off the track, sucked. And so, I mean, it was like Paul Wynn says it was the greatest drive of my life. It was the 1993 10th scale Roar Nationals in Florida. Okay. And there was this guy named Rainbow Rider that literally was in the way. Trinity was trying to pay Rainbow Rider not to get in Joel's way. Okay. Because he would take Joel out. Joel's giving him battery packs, everything. Well, I ended up TQing the race with the greatest drive of my life. There were cars flying everywhere in the S section because they had this tight X section. They were hitting dots and everything. And I literally went underneath all the cars, and Rona and Paul Wynn always talk about that. It's the greatest drive of your life situation. And before the main, all the Trinity guys were talking, going, do you lift in the sweeper? I don't lift in the sweeper. Do you lift in the sweeper? They all played a head game on me. They don't lift going into the sweeper. The horn went off. I went full throttle. I turned the wheel about 4 feet too early. Whack, motor moves, game over. Single main.
They played those mind tricks on you.
Oh, I was 100% over it. And that was probably, I wouldn't say that was when I first broke onto the scene. I think I broke onto the scene in 92 at the Worlds when I made the A, and that's where I came out. In 1991, the Fabulous Baker Boys movie came out, and John Thawley, he was the announcer at the World, started calling me the Fabulous One, Fabulous Barry Baker, because of that movie. And I made the main at the 92 Worlds in Pomona. I think that's when I made my breakout. And then 93 was with Reedy, and it started going and snowballing from there.
Okay. CDB9, Bermuda is more expensive than Monaco. Bermuda is the #1 most expensive country per capita in the world. It may have gone down, but it was #1 for quite some time. I believe it still is. Jerry Kleinbell says, I screen recorded to show Chase Malou tomorrow. He's going to show you his comment about, I knew him when he was still in Paul's sack. And Mike Kaz says, this is going to be the last one for the night, and we're going to call it a night. He says, Hammett homicide in the dead body in the room.
I don't know if I remember that one.
I would remember. I would think you would remember if you had a dead body in your room. But you know what, Barry? It's been a great chat with you this evening. Thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I know we was like, should we record this or should we do it live? I'm glad we did it live because we got to interact with everybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have a good time doing this, and I don't lie to people. People ask me all the time, "What do you think about this? What do you think about that?" And it's the people who tell the truth, or the people, like somebody said earlier, people don't like the truth. So all these people are like putting all these remembrance of like Norca Nats and all this other stuff, and I mean, people that bring this stuff up, it's like so many memories.
Yeah.
And
so Smiley Hen says, I remember at K&M Raceway in Porter, Texas, this was 1998. I believe at the Norco Off-Road Nats, you were pitting on the ONROAD drive stand. I remember getting to the track one of the mornings and someone had hung pacifiers all over your pit. I was super young, but I remember that.
I'm sure it probably happened.
Sweet. Man, everybody loved having you on.
I hope so. I hope where are we at right now? Did everybody start leaving?
Yeah, we're at 146 still.
Wow, that's still pretty good.
That's still pretty good. The guy's like, we're not even gonna 100 people. And I was like, dude, yes, we are.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody coming on, and I mean, I have a good time, and I'm not finished. I still race pretty mediocre and have fun. So I just want to, the whole thing with, the everybody thinks this whole thing with Horizon is going to be a big deal and stuff like that. It's, it happens in RC, and in the corporate world, you just get fed up sometimes. And, I have nothing against Todd or Ryan or Thomas or anybody there. I have things against, the way that it's getting handled, but
yes,
sometimes you just don't have decisions, and I may be completely off my rocker. I may be completely wrong on the way things are handled, and I may not have been told, this, that, or anything else. But I'm still the same Barry as I've always been. I'm still going to have fun, and I'm going to enjoy myself. And, like I said before, I have my real job, and, RC's my life. Like, I love RC.
It's my life too, dude.
I absolutely love it. I mean, I can't get enough of it. I tried to get away from it, and I just can't. It's something that's built in me that, a competitive nature of mine. And it's like, I've told people this multiple times. I love to win. Right. But I hate losing.
I agree too, man. It's an honor for me to have a legend like you on her. Thank you to everybody that joined us today and chatted with us. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Adam Ross, for being in the back, being there, producing, getting those comments up, man. I really appreciate that as well. We're not going to do another live till I get back from Wicked Weekend, guys, but I do have a couple of podcasts coming out prior to that. I will see you guys at Wicked Weekend. I'm looking forward to that. And I know the first thing I'm going to go up and say to Phend when I see him, I'm going to be like, well, Barry wasn't a female body part.
Sontag will still say it though.
Yeah, and dude, we got to do this again. I think we need to get you on at least once a month, especially when something crazy goes on, because you have so much.
Once a month is too much for everybody. Like, I mean, I think maybe once every quarter or something like that, just if I could.
And look, Axel Owen, my prepay for Barry to help me with my Mayako, $10.
That's easy. The circular file at the end of your cabinet.
A circular file at the end of your cabinet. Oh, man.
By the way, how's that e-buggy coming along? Is that thing out yet?
No, it's not out yet.
They still can't get the hot bodies parts to fit?
They're waiting for parts, from what I was told.
There's my cease and desist. It's coming from Mayako now.
Yeah, JQ's going to give you a cease and desist.
Yeah. He can't even cease himself.
No,
I'll set this. He better look out. I got the slasher on my side.
This Spin Radical one. That's my boy. I remember when he came up and told me that, I was like, no.
He had no shame to his game either. I did it.
I know.
I did it.
I know. He came up and told me, and I was like, fuck, man. Why it had to be you? But
All
yeah,
right.
that's racing. That's racing. Barry,
Hey, it's 9 o'clock. I got to go walk my dog.
thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Go walk your dog. You earned it. And good luck with everything coming up.
No,
for the
I
show.
thank you. Thanks for having me on. I mean, I know that this was like last minute kind of thing, but I think that, hopefully I cleared the air on a lot of things because like I said, there were some rumors going around, and I started, I sent the email 3 weeks ago or something like that. And I kept it under wraps for a while. And then all of a sudden it just got out and somebody's like, I heard you this and I heard that and I heard this. And I'm like, before this gets out for rumors, I need to let people know, that I left, it's that kind of thing, and then like I said, it all blew up and, it is what it is, but I'm still going to have fun and I'm going to go to the track and I'm going to enjoy myself and I'm going to help anybody that needs help, no matter what car that they drive, because that's just the way I am.
Okay. Hey, would you like to say anything and leave into your RC son, Max?
I would tell him to shave, but that peach fuzz would probably grow right back. So, yeah.
We need to get you and Max on a podcast.
No, Max is he's a good kid. He's just, he's arrogant.
Yeah, but that's why he's called Arrogant Max.
He's Finnish.
So people want to racing wise, schedule a Kinwall episode with Barry. I think we need to do that. Sit off and tell me some stories.
Well, I mean, if we get a Kinwald episode, I mean, I'm going to get more people on here. We're going to get some important people on here that, it's not just me. Kinwald was special to a lot of people.
Yeah.
To a lot of people.
It's a shame. So, it's him and Ernie Pravetti, two guys I would have loved to have met and talked to. Both of them. I would have loved to have met and talked to those guys. Barry, thank you for your time. You have a good evening. Thank you guys for joining us. It was fun. We had almost 200 people here the whole night. Thank you to the NNRC squad around the world. Thank you, Adam, in the background. Thank you for everybody who gave a super chat, especially you, Axel. And I wanted to say thank you to High Tech RC, Sampadal, Mayako, Hot Race Tire, Cywana Field, Beach RC, Clinic RC, Techno RC, Stacked RC, Ignite Design RC, RaceCraft USA. Shout out to House of RC, JTP, Robert Battier, David Runnefeldt, the Florida RC Championships, WRCE, and my good friend Alexander Hagberg. We appreciate all you guys' support. We appreciate you guys being here with us.
Alexander used to be my hero too, and then he got beat by Runnefeldt and ONROAD
this weekend at the Swedish Nationals.
Yeah. Come on, dude. What are you doing?
Swedish Nationals. And he's Runnefeldt, and he drove some 1/8 scale.
Wait, does that mean that Runnefeldt's the best racer and the overall racer in the world? That he won an 8 scale on-road race and a 10 scale electric race, and he's won off-road? Does that make him the best overall racer in the world?
No, he's got to win
exactly.
But he's definitely one of the best He is one of the best racers in the world.
For sure.
Most definitely.
For sure. He's top 5.
Yeah, I would agree there.
He's top 5. There's, like I said, there's 5 or 6 out there, and he's definitely in that top 5.
Well, you know what? Before we go, let's give us your 5 or 6 right now. I'm going to close this off.
Dakota Mayfield on, not in any specific order.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota Mayfield on Garo, Runnefeldt. I'm going to have to put Canas in there.
I would not argue with that at all.
And then I would have to put, just because I think he's getting his feet back underneath him again, you can't ever count out Ty.
He looked good at the Nationals. Very good.
But that's why I said 5 or 6. You can't ever, but I mean, the top 4 are definitely separated by, and then Canas and Ty are hanging on. But the top
is on
4,
fire right now, man. He was fast at IBC.
He is
fast.
He is
very fast.
And that's why I have that,
He backed it on, see?
But he backed it on
from 110 to 95.
What's
kind
that?
of like he was another one that just went full bore all the time. He's learned to back it down, I think. What I saw,
I can't believe he's only 20 years old or 21 years old.
It's young, dude. He's young.
Yeah.
Young. And he's backed it on to about 95%, and he's not as aggressive. Only when he needs to be. And he's definitely
like I said, he's definitely right there with the other 4, but I think the other 4 are still above everybody right now.
And I'll be honest with you, and out of those 5, I think 3 of them can win anywhere. And I don't have Ongaro in that.
You don't?
Yeah, because I think Ongaro struggles on tracks like DNC and stuff like that. He would have to come over some more.
Okay.
But I think that Mayfield, Phend, and Ronnefalk can win anywhere.
And I think they've proved it.
Yeah.
So.
I think so.
Yeah. All
right. We'll have some more questions for Barry on the next podcast when he comes on her. Thank you guys.
Thanks to everybody out there. And I mean,
That's right.
Hopefully I don't get a lot of hate mail.
I will get the hate mail. Don't worry. Barry, you have a good evening. You guys,
you as well.
Nitro is the glory. E-Buggy pays the bills. Barry Baker, myself, and Adam Ross, we're out. You guys have a good evening. Check you later.
Bye, everybody.